Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Market Close. We are here once again, Monday, December 9th, 3:45 p.m. We've got a lot to discuss today. We've had a lot happen in the markets this morning. In the pre-markets, everything was green, like really green, like Palantir $82 type of green. And by basically 10 minutes after everything became green, everything ended up going red. So not literally everything went going red. I think the indices actually right now are not down as much as they were before, but individual stocks did end up going red. So I want to talk about kind of what's happening with stocks, why they're going red, what's a little bit to explain some of the sell-off that we're seeing right now. And then some of the things that have happened today that have been quite interesting just from a broader market narrative that is forming around different verticals that we're going to talk about right now. Additionally, we've got Oracle earnings after the bell. So Oracle is going to be the big one. We also have MongoDB. We have a couple other names, but Oracle, C3 AI, but Oracle is the big one. This is kind of the current important name when it comes to not only data center buildouts, but software applications of AI, NetSuite. Obviously, there's a lot of different components here. Healthcare in particular for Oracle is going to be very important. Oracle stock is up 88% year to date. Down 1% right now. Before we get into earnings, it was at 198 at one point, currently at 189. So this is going to be a big one that we have to keep our eye on, and we'll be discussing that and going deeper from there. All right, so let's get started. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to get into. 15 minutes into the market close. Let's get into it, and we will keep going from there. First off, Bitcoin is well below 100,000, $96,581. This is not fun to see. But we're seeing it right now. There are some technical people out there saying we're going to go back to 90 or maybe 85 before we go back to 100. Maybe we go back to 100 in like 30 minutes. Who knows what happens? But Bitcoin right here down about 2.94% on the day. I don't really have a reason for why Bitcoin is down. I would be very curious to see what anyone else says in the chat if you have an argument for why Bitcoin is down. But it doesn't seem like there's like this big narrative or big argument for why Bitcoin should be down. If we take a look at MSTR, it is getting hit pretty badly, down 7.5%, 365. Marathon as well, getting hit as Bitcoin comes down. Marathon right here at 23.91, now down 10% on the day. And then the latest company to join the club, Riot, down 14%. What club am I talking about? I am talking about the Bitcoin Treasury Club. Apparently, Riot has raised $500 million in convertible notes. We found that out at the end of the market open today. And because of that, they are now using those $500 million to go out there and buy Bitcoin. These bonds will mature in 2030. I don't know the exact premium that they convert at, but I would imagine it's at least 50% higher than the current price that they were issued at. So if they were issued at $10 or $11, then they would convert at around 2021. And they're playing the whole thesis again, which begs the question that I asked here today, which is if Marathon's doing it, Riot's doing it, MicroStrategy's doing it, then is it that special? And, you know, you could make an argument that it's probably not that special if everyone's doing it. You could also make an argument that if everyone's doing it, everyone's buying Bitcoin. If everyone's buying Bitcoin, that's more demand side pressure on Bitcoin, which means the short interest on the proxy stocks that are being used to hedge against the long, call option on these convertible debts, or convertible notes won't matter because Bitcoin going up is all that matters. So maybe that's kind of what's happening right now. But in general, I think it's one thing that people are thinking about. And I guess so far the market doesn't love it because we're seeing Bitcoin get a little bit of a hit right here at 96,530 right now. Robinhood also getting hit, down about 5.33% on the day. Now, we weren't really at 42.76. We touched it for just a little bit in the morning. So this is more so to me like down 2 or 3% because realistically we're at like $41, but 39.40 nonetheless. We actually did hold 40 for a little bit throughout the majority of the day. And then I think about 20 minutes ago, that's when it just broke under. And that's when pretty much everything broke under. And you saw a lot of stuff really take the next gap down. Ironically, the only name that's really up today, like green, is Grab for some reason, up 4% today. I don't know why Grab is up, but Grab is up 535 currently right now. Hershey's up 11%, potentially getting acquired by Mondelez, which I'm saying wrong, but nonetheless, that might happen. You got Google right here at 177. We'll talk about Google in a second. And then FXI has really been the story of the day. China, large cap ETF, FXI up 7.5% on more stimulus, which is why some of these Chinese stocks, Alibaba, Neo, JD, Baidu, etc., were going green today. Now, speaking of Google, let's talk about this. So this happened today. And this is why being on X is important, just because some of the stuff you're going to see is pretty incredible. Sundar and Elon had an exchange. And Here's what they said. So Sundar says, introducing Willow, our new state-of-the-art quantum computing chip with a breakthrough that can reduce errors exponentially as we scale up using more qubits. So they introduced a really important quantum computer. Elon said, wow. Sundar said, we should do quantum cluster in space with Starship one day. Elon says that will probably happen. Any self-respecting civilization should at least reach Karkadesh type 2. In my opinion, we are currently at only 5% type 1. To get to 30%, we would need to place solar panels in old desert or highly arid regions. Sundar says, indeed, we should scale solar so much more, kind of bullish for Enphase. Amazing that we keep looking at alternatives when the most obvious path is staring at our eyes, literally. Enphase stock currently is at 76.50, so that's up 7%. I don't think it's up literally because of the Sundar tweet about solar, but it is kind of exciting to see him talking about it like that. So you got Elon and Sundar going back and forth on this idea that quantum computing is going to be very important. And then you have Google bring to life this new thing called Willow. Now, here's one of the stats that I thought that was really important from this. Quantum computation occurs in many parallel universes, in line with the idea that we live in a multiverse, a prediction first made by David Deutsch. Now, what's really interesting about this is that Willow's performance on this benchmark is astonishing. It performed a computation in under 5 minutes that would take one of today's fastest supercomputers 10 septillion years. Let me say that again. Google's quantum computer did a computation under 5 minutes of via their quantum computer that it would take the fastest supercomputer a comparable 10 septillion years. I've never even heard of the word septillion. I don't even know that was a thing, but it's 10 to the 25. So that's kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy. And the implications of that from a quantum computing perspective obviously are massive. I would imagine they're massive as well for AGI. Google right here up a little bit on that news. Up 0.45%. Again, investors are arguing, well, wait a second. Google trades at 15 times or 18 times 2026 earnings. They have this massive quantum computer. ChatGPT is not really taking their lunch. By the way, OpenAI released Sora today. So I'll probably test that out maybe at the end of the stream or tomorrow. I have access to ChatGPT Pro. You type in a bunch of words and it creates a video out of it. So that is officially out. I probably wouldn't even work today because they launched and there's so much demand on the servers right now. But eventually I'll play with it live. And so that is out today. But if that's not taking away anything from Google, well, then you got a lot of arguments around why Google is as undervalued as it is. And maybe it's literally just because of the DOJ that might not care about them anymore going into 2025. It does seem like that's a new vertical. Again, we've been hearing of all these different companies, IONQ, QUBT, talking about quantum computing. It does look like Google is at least beginning to say that we want to go after the space in a different way. Let's talk about Palantir. Palantir is down 5% on the day. I don't think there's much to say on this. I mean, look, it hit $82 in the pre-markets, $80 as the market opened. It was awesome. It was amazing. I don't think anyone is surprised that Palantir is down 5% to a measly $165 billion market cap. But yeah, that's what we're seeing right now. People took profits. And I think people took profits across the entire market today. This was one of those days where people legit took profits. Tesla, very slightly red on the day, down about 30 bips. But even Tesla got to 404.8. And then people took some profits. Coinbase down 8% today. The Qs are down 1% on the day. People are taking some profits on techs. S&P 500, 604, down about 0.5%. People are taking some profits on the S&P 500. NVIDIA, which got investigated today by China, led to people taking profits on NVIDIA. 139, down about 2.34% on the day. So I think the Palantir decline, quite frankly, doesn't matter that much. I think Oracle earnings is actually going to be very important to have a better understanding of where the AI stack exists in the context of the SaaS companies. Obviously, Oracle is one of those SaaS companies that is one of the biggest SaaS companies and one of the SaaS companies that is having the most tremendous impact on data centers in particular. So we're going to be looking at their earnings and kind of getting a better glimpse of what's happening in the broader SaaS sector as well. Now, having said that, all of this red that we're seeing today, which it's not really a ton of red, down a couple percentage points on some names, is still not stopping people from saying the S&P 500 is going to 7,000 next year. Let's take a look at this and then we'll keep going from there.
New administration, you got Feds cutting, economy remains strong. What does that mean for where we can go next year? I got a 7,100 price target today from Oppie. That sound reasonable?
Yeah, I can get you to 7,000 pretty easy. If you have a perfectly normal December, and we're halfway through the month already, so this is less cool than it would have been 2 weeks ago.
Well,
but
seasonally is strong to begin with.
It's seasonally strong to begin with. If you have a perfectly normal December, you're going to get to call it 6,200 by the end of the year. And then if you have the 10 to 15% earnings growth that's likely next year, or I should say forecast next year, That gets you up to 7,000 right there. Now, obviously, it's a little more complicated than that, but no, I don't think 7,000 is a bit of a stretch. And again, we're talking a lot about the rotation. The bias is higher. What do I do in that type of an environment? Is Mag 7 going to continue to lead? My argument has been that there's plenty of other stories going on here beyond Mag 7. And you can see that in the equal weight, the mid caps, et cetera.
I mean, is 7,000 a kind of baseline look, or is that everything has to go right, or a lot has to go right to get there?
Well, listen, I know for some strategists on the street, it is the bull case is 7,000. I think I'd probably put myself closer to the camp that thinks it's more of a base case.
Wow.
But you say, wow, but again, 10% next year to 11% next year, not particularly off the charts. If I told you we were going to be up another 25 or 30%, then maybe wow. But I don't think 10% on top of what we've already experienced is. Let me again just be clear here. The Mag 7 is doing great. The net income growth for NVIDIA, 50%. For most of those names, Oracle, Avago's a little better, I think, 10 to 15 to 20%, let's say. Netflix is in that camp as well. But listen, you've got Walmart and Costco doing exceedingly well. You've got the demise of New York City office. Take a look at the charts of SL Green and Vornado. There's all these different stories to which I can point. And then you layer on top of it the rebound in the DocuSign, the Lululemons of the world that just put together pretty good quarters. The dollar stores, which are on the front lines of the tariff war, not terrible. There's plenty of different themes playing out here beyond Mag 7 that support the idea for higher prices.
So I largely agree with that. What he said at the end right here, and will we get to 7,100 on the S&P 500 next year? I don't know. He says it's a base case, which is actually kind of interesting. But when you kind of break down why 7,000 could be the base case, it's interesting because what he said at the end, which is something I focus on a lot on this show, is earnings growth across the entire. I mean, we analyze a lot of companies, and these are the 4 companies that we're looking at today: C3 AI, KC's, MongoDB, and Oracle. And he's right. Lululemon made a nice little recovery. You got companies in the consumer staples place making a recovery. You got retailers outside of like Target that didn't have the best earnings. You got a decent amount of them, even if they're not as big as Target, having a good recovery and actually expanding. I mean, Walmart's up almost 60% year to date. So when you see kind of the earnings growth picture across the entire market, it does become harder to believe that the market can't continue to go higher unless everyone wakes up and says, we just don't feel like paying 23, 24 times earnings, which could happen one day, but you would need a lot of people to agree with that at the same time. And you would need the people that have been waiting to buy the dip to not want to get into the market if we drop to like 20 times earnings, which would be maybe a 10% correction, because obviously people would be excited to get into the markets. And so, yeah, maybe there is an argument. Maybe there absolutely is indeed an argument that there is a shot we will see 7,000 into the S&P 500 next year. Tesla, real quick, before we get into the end of the close. Tesla right here. Wow, green. Tesla going slightly green into the end of close. We'll do the Oracle pump or dump poll. Let's get that done right here. See what you guys think. I have no idea, bro. Like, I have no idea. I mean, I could understand the pump because AI sentiment is high. I could also understand the dump because the thing is up 80%. I didn't know Oracle was up 80% this year. 80%. Market cap on Oracle, Tesla just struggling to stay green at the close, is $528 billion. That means it was closer to $270 billion this year. Which, I mean, look, that's a lot of value that the market has given to Oracle. I think their earnings growth is somewhere along the lines of 15%, something like that. But I could see a dump. I could see a pump. I have no idea. No dog in this race, but I will be curious. The call will be starting at 5 p.m. Eastern, so we'll analyze it, go through some more macro stuff after we get through earnings. And then at 5 p.m., let's take a listen to it. We haven't listened to an earnings call in a couple weeks, ever since NVIDIA. I think this is one that we definitely should be listening to. And hopefully we can get some insights from what Larry Ellison has to say as well. All right, here we go. Yeah, Reddit's actually had a good day. Reddit's actually had a really good day. Where's Reddit right now? Reddit, yeah, holding up 2.86%. It was at 178 or something in the morning, right here at 167. Not bad at all for Reddit. All right, we got some earnings to discuss. Here we go. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Monday, December 9th, 4 p.m. The stock market is now closed. All right, folks. Palantir ends out the day down 5.08%. $72.46. Nvidia down about 2.55%. The S&P 500 down 0.5%. Google up about 0.5%. Enphase up 7% on the day. Nice day for Enphase. Riot was down 13.4%. Marathon was down 9.74%. MicroStrategy down 7.5%. I think someone asked, why is MicroStrategy not going up even if Bitcoin is slightly going down? Or why is MicroStrategy going down more than Bitcoin? It's because they don't trade on a proportional basis. Remember, MicroStrategy trades at about a 2 to 3x premium against Bitcoin. So it's very volatile, even if Bitcoin is flat or Bitcoin slightly goes down. Bitcoin right here, 96,240. We might be taking a visit back to the 95s, which we haven't seen in about, I think, 2 weeks now. So maybe we could be headed there. Robinhood ends the day 39.54, down about 5.11%. I'll show you guys the price targets on Robinhood. They actually got 2 upgrades today, so we'll go through those upgrades in a second. But Robinhood right there, down about 5%. FXI China up 8.29% on the day. Kava was down 11.92%. NEO was up 12.4%. Meta was down 1.64%. Square was down 3%. Hershey's was up 10%. Rick was up 2.94%. Walgreens was up 4%. Boeing was up 2%. Carnival Cruise was down 5%. And Celsius was up 9% of the day. Coinbase as well, down about 9.63%. Do we have any earnings numbers yet? C3 AI is moving a little bit after hours, just a little bit. We got a little bit of green. Oracle is up 0.5% as well. Again, a little bit of green. Nothing too crazy yet. I don't think we can say anything yet. MongoDB as well, about up 0.5% after hours. And then Casey's General Stores is up 0.44% as well, but no numbers fully yet. Grab was up 3.7% of the day. That is correct. Grab was up. Did Tesla end red? Did Tesla end green? Tesla ended green. Not bad. It was a tough day for Tesla going through everything. 389.79, and it is green after hours as well. Again, we hit 400, but just was not able to sustain it towards the end of the day. Surya Records, thank you for the $11 super chat. Appreciate that, Surya Records. Thank you for the $11 super chat. What happened to the crypto market? To be honest, I don't know what caused the crypto liquidation. I think like $400 million worth of leveraged longs got liquidated today. Again, I don't really know. I didn't see any headlines that were kind of anti-crypto today. I saw only headlines that were good for crypto. MicroStrategy bought another 21,000 Bitcoin. I mean, like, it was a lot of good stuff. So I'm not sure exactly why we had a bit of a decline right here today, down about 4%. Yeah, Rocket Lab. Where did Rocket Lab look? And then we'll try to get some of these earnings. Rocket Lab, I don't know, it kind of recovered. Rocket Lab was down 12% in the morning. It's only down 6% to end the day. So Rocket Lab actually did better than worse in the morning. All right, Casey's is down. We got Casey's down right here. Never mind, Casey's up. It was down for a second. Now it's back up 0.44%. MongoDB is moving. We got some movement on MongoDB, 1.68%. Let me know in the chat who owns any of these names, Mongo, Oracle, Casey, or C3 AI. MongoDB is moving. Oh, and then Robinhood Gold Monday. I'll talk about that because that was revealed today. I actually think it's really smart what they're doing, so we'll talk about that as well. Dominic, thank you for becoming a channel member. I think Dominic said if Tesla closed green, he would become a channel member. I appreciate it, Dominic. Thank you for becoming a channel member as well. Oh, maybe that's one reason that David says Google's quantum computer could spell trouble for Bitcoin. So someone sent me the article. I haven't read it yet. And some of you guys who are much smarter, you probably know about this, but there is an argument that quantum computing is bearish for crypto. I have no idea why, but someone sent me the article. I haven't read it yet. And maybe Google's introduction of their quantum computer is, I don't know, bearish crypto. I just like, maybe there's an argument there, but that would be like the best way I could explain it because I don't know why else Bitcoin was down today. Casey says, I keep getting triggered every time you say Casey's. It's a good name, Casey. I like that name. It's not a bad name at all. So we got C3, we got Oracle, we got Casey's, and Casey, I keep triggering you with your name, but I'm sorry. And we have MongoDB. Now Oracle's red. Still no numbers yet, folks. No numbers on any of these guys yet, but we are still waiting for these numbers. Jose says Oracle, but stock def has run up, so not sure what will happen even with good earnings. Yeah, that is my fear as well. Oracle's not just run up, it's run up a lot. We're seeing it go red right here after hours. Not crazy, but a little red. But dude, up 80, Oracle doesn't go up 80% in a year. That doesn't happen. Like, Oracle's not one of those types of movers. So the fact that that's happened just goes to show how much momentum existed in the AI space this year and how much the market was able to give some juice here to Oracle. Quantum computing is bearish for crypto as they can solve blockchain problems 1,000x faster than average computers, which means Bitcoin mining will become a lot less lucrative. Interesting. That is Oh, Oracle's tanking. Oracle's tanking. That's not interesting. Seeing Oracle tank. But the quantum computing thing is interesting. All right. Oracle is down 5%. 63% of you said pump. 37% of you said dump. It's still kind of early. We're still waiting for more results. But Oracle's down 4.5%. MongoDB going the opposite. MongoDB's up 5%. C3 AI is up 8%. So let me see if I can get some numbers right here. The market from Oracle wanted 14 billion in revenue and 148 in EPS. I don't have the exact numbers yet, but that's what the market wanted. Do we have the numbers? Oh, they missed on the top and the bottom. They missed on the top and the bottom. Top and the bottom have been missed for Oracle, down 5.53%. Is Bitcoin tanking? Let's add Bitcoin to the watch list just to keep track of it. Bitcoin is at 95,000. Bitcoin is tanking right now. That is not fun, but Bitcoin is tanking. Oracle down 6%. So in terms of EPS, the street wanted 148. They came in at 147. The street wanted 14.12 billion of revenue. They came in at 14.05. That's not a big miss. Quite frankly, that's a laughable miss. But I guess the market is upset about that. Don't have the exact numbers yet. Still waiting for the doc, but those are the numbers. Down 7% right here off of a 1 cent EPS miss. MongoDB is up 10%, and off of a, I think, $10 million revenue miss. But when you're up 80% year to date, it's hard to keep performing. I mean, if the numbers aren't perfect, you're going to get hit. C3 AI is up 5%. KC's is flat. MongoDB is up 12%. Let's try to get MongoDB numbers. Where's XRP? Is XRP getting hit as well? I mean, if Bitcoin's getting it, I can only imagine the other coins are getting it as well. Yeah, XRP is down 50. Let's go, baby. I'm not happy XRP is down. I'm happy I sold at 250. That's the only reason I'm happy. Not happy it's down. I'm happy I sold at 250. That's all. Up 10%, MongoDB. Oracle down 8%. C3 AI is up 10%. Let me see if I can get Mongo's numbers. Mongo, don't have Mongo's numbers yet. Do I have C3 AI? Oh, I got Mongo. I got C3 and Mongo. All right, so Mongo, wow. Earnings per share. The market wanted 69 cents. They came in with $1.16. That's not bad. Market wanted 495 million in revenue. MongoDB said, hey, we're going to give you 529 million. That's a very substantial beat on the top and the bottom line. That's not a joke. That's basically a 46 cent beat on EPS, and that's a 35 million beat on revenue. I mean, that's what you want out of a SaaS company in an AI vertical that hasn't really had the AI boost that some of these other names have had. But that's what you got at MongoDB. C3 AI is up 12% right now. Their numbers, market wanted negative 16 cents. They lost 6 cents. So they lost less than expected. They're still not profitable. Market wanted 91 million in revenue. They brought in 94.3 million. That's a beat. So they beat on the top and the bottom. C3 AI currently up 12%. MongoDB up 10%. Oracle down 9% on the day. That's what we got. That's what we got in terms of some of these earnings. All right, let's see if we can get some more coverage. Yeah, we got some Oracle coverage here. Let's start with that. And then we'll keep going from there. We will be listening to Oracle's call in about 50 minutes at 5 p.m.
A 147 adjusted on earnings per share. That's a 1 cent miss on its bottom line. Revenue came in line at $14.1 billion, John, and its non-GAAP operating margins of 43%. That also came in line with expectations. We have comments here from Oracle CEO Safra Catz, who's really talking about the strength that the company is seeing in cloud infrastructure, which is basically helping a lot of their customers, the hyperscalers specifically, migrate data into the cloud, which is then used for AI purposes. She says record level of AI demand drove Oracle cloud infrastructure revenue up 52% in the second quarter. That is above Evercore ISI's estimate of 50%. And Katz goes on to say that it's a much higher growth rate than any of our hyperscale cloud infrastructure competitors. And that growth in the AI segment of our infrastructure business was, quote, extraordinary. We're looking at shares, though, down about 9%. We've been talking all day, John, about the big run-up we've seen in shares of Oracle this year. So perhaps expectations were a bit high going in.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to hear what they have to say on the call. They usually give more on the guidance there. Jill, back to you.
Okay, so that's what we had for Oracle. Let's try to get C3 AI if we have those numbers. We do. So let's see C3 AI. XRP is tanking. XRP is down 12% right now. I wouldn't say that's tanking. I mean, it's down to, but then again, it's up for the month. It's up 300%. I think XRP would have to fall like 30, 40% to say it's like really tanking, but XRP is down 11% right now. Here is C3AI's numbers.
Those are out. The stock is heading higher. Let me get those numbers to you. C3AI has a beat on the top and bottom lines. Revenue comes in at 94.3 million for the quarter versus 91 expected, and also well above guidance. EPS comes in at a loss of 6 cents versus a loss of 16 cents expected. Now for Q3, the guide also above expectations. C3 guiding to a midpoint of $98 million in revenue versus expectations of 97.6, and for the full year, guiding to a range of 378 to 398 million versus a lower expected range of 370 to 395. We'll have a lot more on this.
All right, so those are the C3AI and Oracle numbers. Oracle did have a double miss right here, and that's why you're seeing shares down about 8.2%. Getting a little green candle right there at 170, 150. Buyer stepped in, now at 174. Mongo, 10% up. They had a great double beat. They deserve it. MongoDB stock year to date. Let's take a look at them. They are, wow. MongoDB is now up 2% year to date with the 10% increase after hours. So Mongo has not really participated in kind of the SaaS momentum that we've seen this year. C3AI is up 10%. Their stock year to date, let's take a look at them. Their stock year to date, I believe it's up like 50%, something a little bit more than that, if I'm not wrong. It is up 45%. Okay, so now with the 10% after hours, basically 55%. That's what we got. C3AI CEO Tom Siebel of Siebel Systems. That's correct. Tom Siebel is from Siebel Systems, and C3AI is his company. It used to be called C3 IoT and then C3 Energy, and then they ended up settling onto AI. All right, so let's check out what's going on in some of the crypto sectors, then we'll go back to earnings. So Bitcoin went from 94,311, wow, touched 94, now back at 96.5. So you had some buyers right there. Ethereum is at 3680.81. It was at 3,500. It was at 4,000 this morning. So you do have a little bit of a decline right there, but did bounce from that 3509 level. And then Ripple probably bounced with both of them. Yeah, Ripple's back at 221. Ripple was at $2.01. So Ripple was at $2.01. Now it's at $2.21. So Ripple as well kind of rebounding with Ethereum and Bitcoin. All of them moving kind of together. That's what they tend to do. But we are seeing that after hours currently right now. Palantir is after hours. Reddit's down a little bit after hours, 0.02%. Palantir is up 0.18% after hours. For those that are asking, hey, do you think Palantir is going to go up tomorrow? I have no idea. Again, there really isn't a defense for a $165 billion market cap. I think everyone, and I'm going to keep saying this just out of pure caution, everyone needs to be prepared for Palantir potentially to have a pullback. And I don't even think I need to say this. I think anyone who has any level of common sense recognizes that a stock, when it goes up a lot, it could have a little bit of a pullback. We've been through this with Palantir in years prior. So if you're new to Palantir, maybe you've never experienced the pullback on Palantir, but you've definitely probably experienced the pullback on a stock before. So it wouldn't surprise me if Palantir goes below 70. It wouldn't surprise me if Palantir goes below 60. But it also wouldn't surprise me if Palantir just stays in this range and kind of holds onto the multiple because people just want more exposure to it. So I think both of those scenarios are very possible. And it's one of those things where I'm sure most people probably won't freak out one way or the other because it's Palantir. It's gone up a lot this year. You know, it's one of those things where you can't just potentially go up further and further and further, but maybe you can. And so, and like for the bears that think that can't happen, I think there's a way that can happen. For the bulls that think it can only go up, it's like, no, it could come back down, right? So I think both of those scenarios are really important to understand for Palantir. Oracle, where is Oracle right here? After hours, Oracle is still down 8.5%. A little bit of the dipping bot, but not too much currently right now. KC's is up 1.2% after hours. We'll try to get those earnings. C3AI now up 13%. Again, C3AI is worth $5 billion. Palantir is worth $165 billion. So it's a little bit more easier to move the stock. The C3AI also has 127 million shares outstanding versus Palantir at 2.2 billion. So a little bit different there, but any good results can get this thing to move better. And MongoDB right here up 11% currently right now. Someone says pullbacks are usually good. Yeah, pullbacks are usually good. I mean, it's healthy. It's healthy. At the end of the day, it's healthy. We want to see things naturally go up further and further, or naturally go up further, but come down and set a new base, set a new higher low. All those different things are incredibly important in the broader market. Tess says right here, all-time highs are usually followed by more. We hit one today, makes sense. We see another, but it can't just go up to the next. Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. And it makes sense that it would come down before going back up. Bitcoin below 95,000. Did we just go back? No. This notification is old. Okay, so we did go below 95,000, but now we are back to 96,875 for Bitcoin. Amit, what do you think will happen to the stock price if there's no NASDAQ 100 inclusion? I think we will see a sell-off if there's no NASDAQ inclusion, because I think a lot of people are betting that like they're front-running the stock because they think that's going to happen. But I think it's going to happen. Again, I don't know if it's going to happen. It's kind of a gut feeling that like there's a reason they went to the NASDAQ exchange. And there's a reason why this was a month before the rebounds. I think they will get included. Now, MicroStrategy, I have no idea. But if Pouncer doesn't get included, I could see a sell-off. If they do get included, I don't think there has to be a gap higher because a lot of it probably is priced in. But I could still see people buying it up simply because of the idea that institutions would have to buy Pouncer in the NASDAQ. So we will know on Friday kind of how that plays out. And then December 20th will be the actual rebounds. Here's MongoDB earnings as well.
Hey, Morgan, shares are surging. They're up more than 10%. It is a beat on the top and bottom lines with guidance better than expected. In terms of EPS, $1.16 adjusted versus only 69 cents estimated by the street. Revenue also beat there, $529 million versus $502 million expected. As I mentioned as well, fourth quarter guidance better than the street was expecting. Also, a bit of news here on an executive shuffle. The COO and CFO Michael Gordon will be stepping down at the end of the fiscal year. That's January of.
Wow. So MongoDB is up, but 2 key executives are leaving. Interesting. So the market is kind of okay with that big of a switch just because the numbers seem to be that good.
2025, the company has commenced an executive search and is looking both internally and externally to evaluate options. So there you have it, guys. Strong beat, up more than 10% still.
All right, continuing that trend of smaller software names doing well this earnings season. D, thanks. Now let's turn to senior markets commentator Mike Santoli for a look at where the wild things are in this market. Mike.
Okay, so this is kind of what we're looking at for earnings. Let's try to get Casey's numbers. Casey's is a general merchandise store. Let's take a look at them. And then we'll talk about some of the hood upgrades we got today as well. Oh, Planet Lab had earnings. This is the weed company, right? Planet Lab, if I'm not wrong. Well, I didn't know they had earnings, but they beat on EPS. They missed on revenue. Planet, I don't even know their ticker. PL, is that it? PL, they are down 10%. Does anyone own Planet Labs? Does anyone own that thing? It's the weed company, right? They sell weed. Am I wrong on that? Planet Labs. Planet Labs. They it's American Earth Imaging Company. Okay, never mind. This is not weed. Oh, I'm thinking of Planet 13, right? I'm thinking of Planet 13. This is an American Earth Imaging Company based in San Francisco. I don't even know what that means, but never mind. Planet 13, I think, is the weed company. I was thinking of the wrong way. Okay, so that's PL. So Casey's, let me see if their numbers are out. We don't have their numbers yet. We don't have Casey's numbers yet. What's their stock? Let's see if we can do a search for it. It's an SF, so it's a weed company. That's funny. That is funny. CASY. This is a $15 billion company, Casey's. They 14% increase in EPS, net income of 181 million, EBITDA of 349 million, same store sales up by 4%. Casey's is up about 1% after hours. Nothing too crazy. Volume on this is not that high, 467,000 shares, 37 million shares outstanding, but they are up currently 1% after hours. Looks like a beat on the top and the bottom line for Casey's as well. It acting like he isn't there. Dude, I don't smoke weed. I'm trying to figure out, like, just for the reason we brought up weed in the morning was because we were talking about Singapore and we were saying that you can't smoke anything in Singapore, much less weed, right? Weed is much more relaxed, but you can't have drugs in Singapore. That's why I brought it up. And then when I saw Planet Labs, I was like, oh, that's the weed company. I didn't know it was Planet 13. Is Planet 13 even public then? Planet 13. Are they still public? PLNT? Is that the stock? No, that's Planet Fitness. Dude, why are there so many Planet companies out there? Why are people... Oh, Planet Fitness is up 35% year to date. I guess gyms are back in style. Look at that. Planet Fitness is indeed up. Okay, cool. So I want to get Oracle's numbers. So let me try to go on their website. Let's see. Do we have the numbers? Financials. Dude, how do we not have these numbers? This is wild. How is Oracle? There's a $200 billion company. Sorry, $500 billion company, and they're not releasing the numbers. Oh my gosh. I wish we made a requirement that we would delist companies if they don't put up their numbers within 30 seconds of their earnings coming out. I bet that would make a bunch of them. Oh, wait, they did put up their numbers. I just didn't see it. My bad. Like, come on, bro. We need these numbers. But I found this on Twitter. I didn't find this on their website, so I don't know how this person got it. But here we go. Oracle, GAAP earnings per share up 24%. Year over year, revenue $14.1 billion, up 9%. Remaining performance obligations, $97 billion. That's a lot, up 49%. Cloud revenue, $5.9 billion. Cloud infrastructure revenue, $2.4 billion. Cloud application, $3.5 billion. Fusion Cloud ERP SaaS revenue up 18%, $0.9 billion. And then NetSuite, which is one of their core software applications, that's up $0.9 billion, up 20% year over year. CEO said record level AI demand drove Oracle Cloud infrastructure revenue up 52% in Q2, a much higher growth rate than any of our hyperscale cloud infrastructure competitors. Growth in the AI segment of our infrastructure business was extraordinary. GPU consumption was up 336% in the quarter. Holy crap. And we deliver the world's largest and fastest AI supercomputers, scaling up to 65,000 NVIDIA H200 GPUs. This is what I want to hear them talk about on the call, because this is the stuff that I think the street is looking for in terms of what is the ROI. With our remaining performance obligations up 50% to $97 billion, we believe our already impressive growth rates will continue to climb even higher. This fiscal year, total Oracle Cloud revenue should top $25 billion. That is pretty impressive when it comes to weed. Why did I say, oh my God. That's pretty impressive when it comes to AI. Dude, I'm staring at the chat and you guys keep mentioning weed. But me saying that is definitely not helping my case right here. It's pretty impressive when it comes to AI demand, because the AI demand is high like weed. Larry Ellison said, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure trains several of the world's most important generative AI models because we are faster and less expensive than other clouds. And we just signed an agreement with Meta for them to use Oracle's AI Cloud Infrastructure and collaborate with Oracle on the development of AI agents based on Meta's Llama models. The Oracle Cloud trains dozens of specialized AI models and embeds hundreds of AI agents in cloud applications. For example, Oracle's AI agents automate drug design, image, and genomic analysis for cancer diagnostics, audio updates to electronic health records for patient care, satellite image analysis to predict and improve agricultural output, fraud and money laundering detection, dual-factor biometric computer logins, and real-time weapons detection in schools. Oracle-trained AI models and AI agents will improve the rate of scientific discovery, economic development, and corporate growth throughout the world. The scale of the opportunity is unimaginable. That's a hell of an argument from Larry Ellison. I want to hear more of that on the call today. That is a hell of an argument. I mean, their AI revenue is up 336%. Or sorry, GPU consumption up 336%, but AI cloud infrastructure revenue up 52%. Those are big numbers, bro. Like, Oracle's not just standing back while the other hyperscalers get their moment in the sun when it comes to AI. They are trying to be an active player in this game. Question is just if the valuation is suited for that type of growth. Oracle right here down 6%. It's recovering. It was down 10%. Now it's down 6%. People are buying. MongoDB still up 10%. Casey's is up 1%. C3 AI up 14%. And Bitcoin back to 97,000. Did flush out to 94,300. Now back to 94,000 currently right now. There you go. So why is Oracle down? Because Oracle was up 80%. I mean, that's my logic for why it's down. I mean, they did miss on the top and the bottom. It's just the street would have ignored that if they weren't up 80% year to date. But when you're up 80%, you can't have a miss, even if it's just like, by 1 penny. Not bad. Not bad. These are good earnings. These are not bad earnings. These aren't earnings that are kind of telling me that things are going bad in some of the other parts of the economy. You got Casey's up, C3 AI getting AI momentum, MongoDB getting momentum on the SaaS space, and they haven't got momentum all year. So this was a good earnings from them. They beat pretty nicely. And Oracle down only 6% after being down about 9%. Where is NVIDIA after hours? Let's take a look at them. NVIDIA is 138. It's down a little bit after hours, nothing too crazy. 138.81. Tesla after hours. Let's take a look at them. 380. Oh, Tesla's actually up 392. Tesla's up 0.5%. And then Palantir 72.90 Palantir is also up 0.5%. Currently right now after hours as well. SMCI, what did SMCI do today? They were up 14% in the morning. SMCI gave up everything today. They ended the day up 0.52%. These guys were at $49 yesterday night and in the pre-markets. They gave up pretty much all of that. The semis throughout the day, and then we'll get into some macro stuff. Semis, NVIDIA right here was down. AMD was down 5%. I did not see that. AMD was down. Intel was down 1%. SMCI was up 0.5%. On Semiconductor was up. ASML was down. Broadcom, this one's on Wednesday, they were down. ARM was down. Lam Research was slightly up. So most of the semis were down. Dell was up a little bit. Micron was up a little bit, 1.63%. But NVIDIA and AMD were down the most. AMD down 5%. NVIDIA down 2.55%. Okay, so let's talk about some more macro stuff. At 5 p.m., so in about 30 minutes, we will listen to Larry Ellison on the Oracle call, kind of make the case for why Oracle is a prime winner when it comes to AI. But let's get through some other headlines until we get there. First of all, Robinhood. So 2 upgrades this morning. Number 1, they got upgraded to Barclays from 26 to 49. Number 2, they got upgraded to $52 from 40 by Needham. So pretty much every analyst across the street is giving Robinhood a $45 or higher price target. Barclays at 49, Bernstein at 51, Mizuho at 60, Needham at 52, Goldman Sachs at 46, Piper Stanley 54, KeyBank at 47, and then Morgan Stanley at 55. Now, what was also really interesting today, and shout out to the person who sent this to me. We will be having Robinhood Weekly for the first time today at 9:30 p.m., so we'll be talking more about Robinhood Weekly. But someone did the math on their crypto momentum this year. And based on the data we had in November, we had $30 billion of trading volume. And I kind of agree with their assumptions. Some of their consumptions are conservative. Some of them are just like matching the expectations from the previous month. And again, I still have to verify this, not my full projections yet, but they're looking at a $900 million revenue quarter for Robinhood. Now, it all depends on December data. We still don't know what December data looks like. But if you take a look at the crypto data and you add it to the options, equity volumes, along with subtracting some of the contra revenue and add that to the gold subscription revenue, et cetera, you put all that together along with the interest income and margin balances, you're kind of flirting with $1 billion quarter for Robinhood in terms of revenue. Now, again, I still have to do my projections, but from the little that I got sent today in terms of looking at some of the numbers, it does look like there's a shot. It looks like Robinhood is going to do $319 million of revenue from crypto alone in Q4, which would be up 250% from the $126 million they did in Q1. In fact, they did $121 million, if my projections are correct, in the month of November alone on crypto. So yeah, there's definitely some momentum in the context of Robinhood, and that growth, I think, is also why the analysts are upgrading it. Now, one last piece of news right here on Robinhood. We have Gold Monday. That is officially out. So what is Gold Monday? I know a lot of people were asking for what Gold Monday was. It is basically a promotion to get more people to sign up to Robinhood Gold. So what Robinhood's doing right here is having $1 million Gold Monday pot for the next 7 days. And if you sign up to become a gold member, you get 25% off your annual gold membership. So instead of paying $60 a year, you pay $45, which is $375 a month. And you get included into not really a raffle, but like a pot of people. And so, for example, if one person signs up for Robinhood Gold over the next week, that one person will get $1 million. If 5,000 people sign up, those 5,000 people will get $200 each. So I think it's actually really creative because it gives people an incentive to sign up because they know they're going to get some money. Maybe it's $1, maybe it's $20, maybe it's $100. You don't know. And you get 25% off your annual gold membership, and you get 4.7% APY. Most people are taking it down to 3.99%, 4.25%. If you sign up for the next 60 days, you get a 4.75% APY on your cash. So I actually think it's pretty smart. I think it's pretty smart for them to do them. It makes a lot of sense. And it's better than just throwing $1 million at like a bunch of ads. Like, I think that's actually more effective because there's an incentive for people to sign up because they know they're going to get some money. And then the question is, can you just get like 100,000 people to sign up so that the $1 million is not worth that much to you? Your cost per acquisition goes down per each of these people. APY is your average percentage yield. It's your yield that you're getting. So like, like if you're getting a 4.5% money market yield, that's essentially what your API would be in Robinhood. In this case, they're giving you 4.75%. So I think it's a good idea. If you're already a member, you get nothing. If it's already a member, this is only for new members. So this promotion is only for people that are not Robinhood Gold members. That's kind of the point of it. If you're already a gold member, then there's kind of like no way you participate in this promotion. 4.75% for 60 days, so for about 2 months. So you would get 50 basis points more than everybody else that's getting 4.25%, which is kind of like the industry standard right now for the next 60 days. I think it's smart. I think it makes sense. I think they can add more gold members, and if they're able to do that, then that should increase more top-line revenue growth and more members onto the platform in gold. So I think it makes a lot of sense. Where is C3 AI after the bell? We have C3 AI up 18% after the bell. I don't know what the market loves about those earnings because the revenue growth is not like 50 or 60%. $94 million is not crazy, but I guess the market likes something about it, maybe the guidance, and that's why it's getting some momentum. Here is Brent Thill, the analyst who has a $28 price target on Palantir. Here's his thoughts on Oracle. Let's see what he said about these earnings right here.
It's good to have you on. So let's start right there. Your takeaway from this report, especially since at least where AI specifically is concerned, a lot of bullish commentary and an OCI growth rate that seems to be a little bit better than street expectations.
Yeah, Morgan, it was a mediocre print. You know, revenue was inside their guide. Earnings missed street by a penny inside their guide. And then OCI was 49% growth, but we think we needed over 50 last quarter. They were 52, so growth rates are decelerating. So the entire run-up in Oracle stock has been based on this backlog number. It's not been based on revenue. The backlog growth has been phenomenal. It's still good, but the growth is fading. So I think we have what you call a pretty right down the middle, no excitement, no bells and whistles on this print. And software's had a huge run up here in the fourth quarter, as we call it. It's been the mullet trade. It's been all business for 3 quarters. Then we got a little bit of a party here in the last month, but that effectively is these numbers aren't good enough to continue that run that we've seen.
How much of this is potentially seasonality or just choppiness, especially given the fact that Oracle has a large and growing book of government business, and at least here in the U.S., we are operating on a continuing resolution, so you're not seeing a lot of those contracting dollars go out the door.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. We think federal will be really good for Oracle over the next couple of years, partly because of Larry's relationship with Elon Musk, partly because if you look at what Musk has been tweeting about how bad the federal government systems are, Oracle has a really strong presence inside federal. So we think short term there's going to be some disruption, but I think over the next year or two, this will be a huge catalyst for Oracle to have a better federal business, partly because of their relationships, partly because they've been in for quite some time, and they run a lot of the legacy systems that Musk, again, I think he's had 2 tweets today talking about how bad the software is. So everyone's saying, well, Doge is bad for software. It looks from my interpretation that the federal government's about to go through a massive software upgrade based on how bad Musk thinks the systems are. So that should be good for Oracle. It'll be good for other providers in our space around federal that have exposure in that space.
Brent, how much of Oracle's backlog, you bring that up as an important number, has been because of demand specifically for Oracle versus lack of supply at hyperscalers overall? We've seen others sort of send their overage toward Oracle, because I imagine if their capacity starts to open up, there starts to be more capacity overall among the hyperscalers. If it hasn't been mostly or almost all customers coming specifically for Oracle, it could have a disproportionate impact, couldn't it, on Oracle's backlog?
That's right, John. I think, again, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft are better positioned than Oracle in this market. I think a lot of the success has been to exactly what you're talking about. You couldn't get enough capacity from others. They had to go to Oracle. Oracle has obviously an amazing presence inside on-premise workloads. They have a great applications business, which others don't. So there's some advantages on Oracle's own that they have. But I think a lot of this is because of the overage, and you had to go there. It wasn't that the products were ahead. We think in many ways Oracle was behind the others. So again, I think the risk is if we see this, and we've said this, even the partnerships with the hyperscalers, we do think that Microsoft and Amazon are better positioned, having gone to the AWS conference last week. I mean, it's incredible the momentum that they're seeing. You just don't feel that same momentum when you talk to the Oracle installed base. So relatively speaking, Amazon, Microsoft, more momentum, but again, Oracle's got some great opportunities, especially given those on-prem and federal workloads coming.
All right, Brent, thanks. Oracle's off the overtime lows.
So Brent, not that bullish on Oracle outside of the government business potentially being a tailwind, which I think based on what Elon said today, we showed you that tweet in the morning where Elon said that literally the government computers don't even function effectively. So not only are they going to do a major IT overhaul, but the software updates and potential platforms that the government is going to use probably will be upgraded as well. Maybe that means a lot more money for Palantir and Oracle. But it seems like his argument here is that a lot of the stock price in terms of the 88% revenue growth this year is not because of revenue growth or 88% share appreciation this year. It's not because of revenue growth, but it's because of their remaining performance obligation growth, which is still a reasonable way for investors to say, hey, your RPO is going up, which means technically your revenue, you eventually will recognize that revenue, which should translate into either increased growth or increased earnings per share. But I think what's most important about Oracle is that their AI cloud infrastructure revenue is up 52%, even if their top line revenue is up 11%. And that's what I think investors are betting on. Investors are betting on that thing is going to compound at maybe 40, 50% for the next 5 years, which maybe takes revenue to 15, 20%. And that's when you see Oracle closer to maybe $700-800 billion in market cap. Right now it's at $500 billion, but still already up 80% year to date from 270 to 550 billion. Not a bad thing for Oracle. Here is Tom Siebel, C3 AI CEO, on their earnings results right now.
Right now, more than 15% after Q2 numbers beat on the top and bottom line. Margins coming in higher than expected. The guide strong as well. Joining us now exclusively before the earnings call is C3 AI Chairman and CEO Tom Siebel. Tom, what a coincidence having you on the same day as Oracle, your former stomping grounds, which your stock is doing a lot better here in overtime. We talked about the Microsoft partnership at Ignite, but let's talk about this quarter and what went particularly right, and clarify what happened with engineering services here, because services people misunderstood, I think, last quarter.
Well, I think everything went right, John. Growth was exceptional. It exceeded our expectations. We had 29% year-over-year growth. Talk about prioritized engineering services. This is software that we deliver to our customers. When a customer asks us, a large, important customer like a Shell or a Baker Hughes or Cargill or United States government, whoever it might be, to take a feature that we have in our roadmap for the future and deliver it now, we charge for that. And it looks like software. It smells like software. It is software. They use it over the life of their agreement, but that is called a prioritized engineering service. And due to a change in the accounting regulations that came with ASC 606 about 2019 or 2020, you have to account for that as professional services. But if you count the subscription revenue and the prioritized engineering services, I think it accounts for 96% of our revenue in the quarter. So that is very high quality, very high margin revenue.
In the release, you point out that in the previous quarter, Q2, you closed 62% of total agreements through the partner network. How much is the partner network becoming important in understanding the customer need and getting their speed to value locked in as more and more customers really start to pursue getting benefits from their data?
John, the partner network is just everything. Whether we're dealing with Google Cloud, with AWS, with the huge partnership that we announced with Microsoft. Microsoft, the largest software company on the planet Earth, has now taken all of C3 AI's products and put it on their price list, sellable by their salespeople, on their paper, under their contracts. All their salespeople get commissioned. So this is huge. C3 AI just went from order of 100 salespeople to order of tens of thousands of salespeople overnight. So the partner network is everything. It's something I think it is a core competence. We're particularly good at it. And with we do great work with AWS. We do a lot of good work with Google Cloud, Booz Allen in the federal space, Raytheon in the federal space, and now this Microsoft relationship is huge, huge, huge.
Tom, it's great to have you on here. I was just talking with.
All right, so that's what you got from Tom Siebel on C3 AI. Look, revenue acceleration at 30% is good. It's not bad. It's not like crazy revenue growth, but given the stock is $5 billion market cap, AI is hot, the market wants more exposure to AI. A lot of people might just be buying it for the pure fact that it's an AI proxy without having to pay $165 billion for Palantir. So that might be the reason. A couple of headlines we got after hours, 20 minutes until Oracle's earnings call. Amazon and Intuit just announced a multi-year strategic partnership. QuickBooks will become Amazon's preferred partner for financial management solutions integrated directly in Amazon Seller Central, the Amazon site where sellers manage their businesses. This makes a lot of sense. You got Intuit that obviously offers a lot of tools for small businesses, and it definitely with different things when it comes to taxes. So them working with Amazon sellers or having a host of new people to join the platform, aka Amazon sellers, which are small business owners, that makes a lot of sense. So that we got the one headline there. And then here's another headline that just dropped 30 minutes ago. Russian State Duma deputy, I'm not even going to try to say his name, proposed creating a strategic Bitcoin reserve in Russia. We did see Putin 2 days ago at some conference talk about how no one can stop Bitcoin because the technology is just moving too fast and no one can actually ban it. So you had Putin kind of acknowledge that Bitcoin's not going anywhere. And now you've got some people in the Russia State Department saying, hey, maybe we need to take a look at a strategic Bitcoin reserve. What's really interesting about this is that if America actually pulls off getting a strategic reserve, which I do think there's a better than 50% chance that'll happen, Bitcoin right here trying to get back to 98,000, I think the rest of the world is going to follow. I really think the rest of the world is going to follow. And if they do follow, that's just, you don't have that much Bitcoin left. I mean, yeah, Sailor's got freaking 402,000 of them. All these Bitcoin companies putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet. The Bitcoin ETFs have over 1 million Bitcoin. Nakamoto has, 1 million Bitcoin. That's never going away, 1.1 million Bitcoin. I mean, as Fred says right there, yeah, Bitcoin arms race. Exactly. A Bitcoin arms race. Putin might be Mr. 100. Yeah, I mean, he might be Mr. 100. I showed this yesterday on the Sunday show, but Mr. 100 is this blockchain address that keeps buying Bitcoin, 100 of Bitcoin a day. And over the past couple of days, they've been buying 200 to 300 Bitcoin a day. And they haven't been doing that for the past couple of weeks. So they are back to buying Bitcoin at these elevated levels. Maybe it's Putin. Maybe it's Bezos. Maybe it's Zucks. Maybe it's the Saudis. I don't know who it is. But it's somebody. It's definitely somebody. So there you go. Look at this. He bought 1,100 Bitcoin on 12.5. I think that's when Bitcoin crashed like 92,000. Maybe he loaded up there. How much is that? 1,100 times 92,000. What is that? 1,100 times 92,000. That's $100 million, bro. Just casually buying Bitcoin. $100 million. That's wild, bro. Absolutely wild. So it is someone. I don't think it's Riot. It's not a MIT. One day, maybe it'll be a MIT. It is not a MIT right now. But you do have some people buying Bitcoin. All right, let's move on to Tesla. I mean, we talked a little bit about Tesla, but Tesla did come out with a new video today. And that video has to do with something that has been a theme for the past couple of weeks that's becoming more of a theme because I think it might be the year that it takes off to an extent. Bots. So this is Tesla Optimus taking a walk. They posted this picture today. There is the robot trying to get through a field. Again, it's not like the most crazy impressive, but it's in the early innings and eventually it's going to get there. And when robots can legit walk across the entire earth, I think there's going to be a very unique philosophical question that all of us are going to be asking as well. Where's Palantir after hours? Are we moving? Yeah, we're up 1% after hours. I don't know why we're up 1.3%, but Palantir is up 1.3% after hours. Look at that, bro. Pretty cool. Pretty freaking cool. It's not bad at all. I don't know why Palantir is up 1.3%, but we are up a little bit right now after hours. So in the context of what this means for Tesla, again, I think they're doing too much PR with Optimus, especially with Kim Kardashian and all these celebrities that are getting access to it. And I think that PR is going to lead to an announcement in 2025, next year. around something where Optimus is more commercially viable. And maybe it's not. Maybe we're super far away and maybe they're just teasing and they're still training it and all that stuff. But I have a feeling in 2025, maybe it's not like a big wide scale commercial partnership, but it's some analysis of, hey, in our factory, we took away 1,000 workers, we replaced them with bots. Maybe we didn't fire the workers, we put the workers somewhere else, but we had the bots do what the workers were doing. These were the results we got. And maybe we even saved a little bit on our cost of goods to make the car in terms of labor because we were able to replace them with bots. I mean, that's a little bit of a stretch, but if they could say something like that, that could give the street some level of like, oh, this is tangible, this is real, this is happening. The best thing would be an LOI from like a Walmart saying that they want to buy Tesla bots. But if that could happen, I mean, I don't know. There's an argument that we start to see the street say, hey, there's a Tesla thesis here around bots that we have to think about a lot more deeply. And we saw that with Bank of America, right? Bank of America literally upgraded Tesla to $400 based on Optimus last week. Maybe we'll start to see more of that. Ethereum getting a little recovery right here, 3,700. Tesla 389. Oracle's down 6%. Again, it was down 10%, so you got a nice 4% recovery right there. Mongo's up 9%. C3 AI up 13%. It was up 18%, but now it's up 13%. And then you got Casey's that is flat on the day. NVIDIA still down after hours after being down 3% on the day. Did you ever see the movie called The Terminator? So I know what the movie is. I have not watched the movie. I know some of you in the chat will not believe that, but I haven't watched it. I think I know a little bit about the plot of the movie. It's like robots taking over the world, right? That's what happened. Like that's pretty much all I know. But I've not seen the movie. Eventually I'll have to watch it. That shouldn't be triggering, bro. Like, you guys know I don't watch movies. That can't be that triggering. You guys can't like get upset about that. You know I don't watch freaking movies. Like I haven't seen it. No, legit, I haven't seen it. What, bro? Why are you guys scolding me for that? Like, did you really expect me to watch Terminator? Who's John Connor? I don't know who that is. It's a robot research dude. Oh my gosh. Terminator 2 is the best movie in the world. You must, but start with 1. Well, let's go to IMDb because you guys know I use IMDb as my as my source. IMDb, what do they give Terminator? They gave it a 1984. James Cameron directed it. Oh, I like James Cameron. I like him. I'm a fan of James Cameron. You know, I said a take the other day and people got mad at it. I don't know how they got mad at it. I don't even know if I should say it here. I think you guys might get mad. But I said Titanic's a top 10 movie of all time. I said Titanic's a top 10 movie of all time. They gave it an 8 out of 10. Okay, so they gave it an 8 out of 10. All right, 8.1 out of 10. That's good. That's good. That I know that people like Terminator then. That's a good. You guys are probably like, this is a fucking classic. Why are you caring about the rating? I think Titanic is a top 10 movie of all time. Okay, but here's the question. Is Terminator a top 10 movie of all time? That's the question. Is it a top 10 movie of all time? Is it? I'd be honest here. Is Terminator a top 10 movie of all time? And if it's not, well, I don't know. You got to ask yourself, why not? Amit was born in 2000. How can you expect him to watch a movie from 1984? Okay, first of all, I was born in 1997. I've seen 90s movies and 80s movies. I haven't seen Terminator. Okay, most of you guys are saying no. Well, is Terminator better than Titanic as a movie? Is Terminator better than Titanic? MBD 385 after hours. Where's Palantir? Palantir 1.35%. I mean, I haven't watched it, so I can't say if it's better than Titanic, but Titanic's a good movie, bro. Jack and Rose, that was a good relationship. Like, dude, it's a good movie. It's a like historical event, 4 hours long, maybe a little too long, but it was a good movie. Wow, everyone's saying yes. Someone said Titanic is gay. Goodness gracious, bro. I feel like Titanic's a top 10 movie of all time. The Matrix, you know what movie sucks? Okay, let me not say sucks. Let me take that back. Just not as good as what I think people hype it up to be, because I actually did watch it this year. The Matrix. I don't think The Matrix is that good, bro. It's okay. Like, it's okay. Outside of like a couple of scenes, it's not that interesting. And Matrix 2, Matrix 3 are just, God, the sequels are like absolutely horrible. Like, I don't know why the sequels were created. It should have been a movie that stood the test of time on its own. All of the sequels were stupid, in my opinion. I tried watching them on Netflix. So Netflix licensed all of them this year, and that's when I got to watch them. Palantir's up 1.5% after hours. I don't know why, but it is up. Robinhood is up 0.6% after hours. Bitcoin just above 97,000. That's a horrible take. Is that really a horrible take? I don't know, bro. I don't think Matrix was that good. If you guys think that take is horrible, then I'm definitely not going to say the other movie that starts with an F that I think sucks. Like that one I'll legit say sucks, and I'll stand on business to say that it sucks. But I'm not going to say it. But it starts with an F, but I'm not going to say it. OGs know, but I'm not going to say it. I'm questioning my faith in Palantir now. Dude, if my credibility was based on movies when it came to like investing in Palantir in 2022, it's a good thing I never said my movie picks in 2022. I wouldn't have even got people into the door to watch the videos, bro. They would have been like, yeah, we're going to go to somewhere else to figure this out. You can't fully understand how game-changing the original Matrix was by watching it for the first time in 2024. It's like how Marvel movies are all just over the top eye candy. There was a time before. Yeah, I agree. I mean, before computers, obviously, or like during the dawn of when computers were really getting prominence, Matrix in 1999, I think it came out, probably was a totally different world. I mean, like that movie was probably revolutionary at its time. So I think that's definitely an argument. I just didn't actually love the movie itself. And again, maybe it's I'm watching in 2024. I just didn't love the movie. I really didn't. I loved certain scenes in the movie, but I didn't love the movie itself. That was the difference with it. But Terminator is something I definitely have to watch. That is something I should watch a lot more. Okay, hold on. We got a couple other updates. Let's take a look at some other stuff going on right here. We got the Oracle call in 9 minutes, so we got to look at that. Oh yeah, let's look at this Sora generation OpenAI thing. Let's get an update on that, and then we'll keep going from there. Oracle in about 10 minutes.
On OpenAI, Steve Kovac. Steve, is this another 12 days of whatever?
12 days of shipmas. So
Thank
Merry
you.
Shipmas to you, Kelly. And this is coming from.
Okay. All right. I definitely didn't hear ship with a P. That's for sure. I definitely didn't hear ship with a P. I can't believe that EE actually said that. It didn't sound like ship miss. Not to me.
OpenAI. They just released Sora. This is the highly anticipated video generation tool that OpenAI teased a number of months ago, and it's been really curious about when this thing was actually going to launch. It was only for beta testers. What it lets you do, Kelly, is you give it a brief prompt. We're so used to image generation these days with artificial intelligence. Well, this could do a short video clip. It's an animated clip, 3D animation, looks kind of like almost like a Pixar movie. Here's an example of some pirate ships floating around a coffee cup. I mean, there's innovation right there for you. But this is, again, part of a longer tail of what OpenAI has been going through. They're calling it the 12 days of shipments. Every day, this is the third day of it, that they're going to have a new product to show off. By the way, another OpenAI product I want to talk about that we were expecting to launch today, that's ChatGPT on the iPhone. It was supposed to come out, or is expected to come out as soon as today, but they just put out, they meaning Apple, put out another beta release. So it's unclear if it's going to happen today or tomorrow, but it's still going to be a very big week for OpenAI, just opening it up to tens of millions of users on the iPhone, and then this really buzzy Sora product for video, Kelly.
Steve.
Okay, so this is the website. They're not letting me make an account because they probably have too many people signing up right now. These are all AI generated. All of them. AI generated videos. I think Marquez Brownlee, MKBHD, shared an example of one of these videos because he's been playing with it. Yeah, he has some examples on his Twitter that we're looking at as well that are similar to the ones we're seeing on the website. But all right, so here's my question. Do you guys think this is cool? Do you guys think like it is going to be cool to type in guy sitting on a horse and then getting a realistic guy on a horse? Like, I think it's a game changer. I think film media is never going to be the same. I think it's definitely going to affect the broader media industry. I am worried though, when Meta comes up with their own version of this, and Amazon and Google, that Sora is not going to be that exciting because everyone's going to have their own way of doing this. Why are you guys saying no? You guys don't think this is like a real use case? I feel like this is a real use case. Like if I need an astronaut jumping off of the moon to put into my video, and I, instead of licensing it from some random website, I just type it in and boom, AI comes up with it. I feel like that's valuable for the content creation space, probably valuable for the movie industry, even though there's probably going to be so many regulations on AI. But I also think it could be just a toy. And most people are not going to care about creating these AI videos. I mean, they'll care for a little bit, but then they won't care after that. So I think that's kind of like the bull in the bear case. It's great for B-roll, correct. Shutter stock is toast. I agree with that. I don't think if you're a licensing image or video company, I think your days are completely numbered. I mean, at that point, it does not seem like there's any long tail value to licensing images if you can make your own. Probably good for music videos for no-name artists. Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely good for creators. Amit watches Titanic and says it's the best and then says Matrix is mid. Wow. Dude, these are my movie takes, man. These are my movie. You know, it's great. I told you guys, I can sit through a 3-hour podcast. I can't sit through a 3-hour movie. Like, for some reason, I can watch two people talk back and forth, but I can't watch a movie. Yeah, I think the image creation and the video creation moats of these platforms, just like the LLMs with chat input and output, are going to go away. There's nothing competitive about them. I actually did a podcast with Farzad today. It'll be on his channel soon. And I'm starting to believe OpenAI really doesn't have a moat. Because when you see what Meta's doing, when you see what Anthropic's doing, they're all doing the same thing. So it's like XAI is going to come out with their own video stuff soon. Like, where is the real value to this other than having GPUs? But now everyone has GPUs. Maybe OpenAI had them first, but that doesn't mean they have a first mover advantage to the point where people wouldn't use other products. And I think that's the problem with getting super excited about these tools. But it's out. People have been asking for this for like 7 months now. They introduced it in like February. So I think people are excited that it's finally out. Oracle right here, now down only 5%. It was down 10%. Dip buyers are indeed coming in. And they are buying. Yeah, we'll cover GameStop tomorrow, but there's not going to be much to cover. They're only going to give you a press release and that's it. Like, GameStop doesn't really do earnings. So it's not going to be much to cover other than seeing where the stock goes. Amit, have you ever seen American Pie? Okay, I think I saw this a long time ago. I know this movie. It was a long time ago. I think it was just randomly on TV one day. I know it's about a party, right? Robin Hood's up about 1% after hours. It's like a party. College kids throwing a party, I think. I think that's what it is. But haven't watched it recently. Top 3 movies all time. Okay, top 3 movies. This is pretty simple. Wolf of Wall Street. Dark Knight. Actually, no, sorry. Interstellar, Inception, Dark Knight. Wolf of Wall Street is a good runner-up. Now, as soon as I say that, someone might say, oh, this guy's a freaking... who's the director of all those movies? Fuck, I'm forgetting his name. What's the guy's name? It's not James Cameron. Is it? No, Christopher Nolan, right? Yeah, Christopher Nolan. Someone's going to say, oh, this guy's only watched Nolan movies his whole life. I don't think you need to watch that many other movies when Nolan has the best movies. So I think that's okay to have those as your top 3. I have watched Shrek, okay, The Ogre and The Donkey. I have some cultural knowledge, right? I didn't watch Tenet, and I never watched Tenet. But look, I think Christopher Nolan is probably one of the best directors of all time. Now, there are others, Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, although I don't really like Pulp Fiction. I really don't like that one either. I think it's okay. It's not that interesting to me. Like, I think Inception beats Pulp Fiction. I think Interstellar beats Pulp Fiction. I think Wolf of Wall Street beats Pulp Fiction. Like, I think Pulp Fiction is as good as what people say. But those are my top 3. And I don't think that's a bad top 3. We got Oracle in 2 minutes, folks. I'll switch over in 2 minutes. But I don't think that's a bad top 3. Oh, wow. Robinhood, 1.19% after hours, $40. Is that because of I think that has to be because of Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin's not really. I mean, it's back above 97. Is Palantir still? Yeah, Palantir's up as well after hours, 1.23%. Had a little bit of a red day, but you got dip buyers coming in. You got dip buyers coming in that want to take a look. SoFi had a crappy day. SoFi got downgraded by Bank of America. A lot of it was based on like fair value accounting. I don't think it was the best downgrade, but they're down 2.8%. Stock held up pretty well, even with a downgrade. Usually on days like this, SoFi would get hit. SoFi, there was enough people ready to buy the dip, and they said they kind of didn't care too much about that downgrade. Oh, The Departed. Okay, so this is in probably my, I don't know if it's a top 10 movie, but it's definitely my top 20 movies. I like The Departed. I've watched this like 5 times. Let's see, when I like something, I really watch it over and over again, and I enjoy it. But to watch something new is the problem for my brain. But if I know I like it, I'll watch it again, even though I've already seen it. Like Breaking Bad, I've seen that show like at least 5 times front to back over the past 10 years. But watching the new stuff is the hard part. But The Departed is amazing. The Departed, Inception, it's amazing. Amit, don't ever think about creating a movie critic channel. I won't. There's a lot of good ones on YouTube. They would clown me if I try to make one. They would react to my takes just to clown me, bro. They would literally clown me. All right, are we starting on Oracle? We should be starting in like 20 seconds. And then for the next hour, we're going to hear how Oracle is using AI and benefiting off of AI demand. Breaking Bad was filmed in my high school. Wow, that's cool. Breaking Bad to me is still the top show of all time. Dawson's Creek is a close second, but Breaking Bad is up there. I never watched Hunger Games either. I never got the hype on that. I never saw that one. I never saw Hunger Games. I don't think that's that big of a deal, though. It's Hunger Games, right? Like, can't be that big of a deal. Have you seen City of Gods? No, I haven't seen that one.
Thank you for standing by and welcome to...
I haven't seen No Country for Old Men either. Gotta watch some of these movies. All right, here we go. Oracle earnings starts now.
Speaker's remarks. There will be a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, again, press the star 1. Thank you. I'd now like to turn the call over to Ken Bond, Head of Investor Relations. You may begin.
Thank you, Rob, and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Oracle's second quarter fiscal year 2025 earnings conference call. A copy of the press release and financial tables, which includes a GAAP to non-GAAP reconciliation and other supplemental financial information, can be viewed and downloaded from our investor relations website. Additionally, a list of many customers who purchased Oracle Cloud Services or went live on Oracle Cloud recently will be available from our investor relations website as well. On the call today are Chairman and Chief Technology Officer Larry Ellison and Chief Executive Officer Safra Catz. As a reminder, today's discussion will include forward-looking statements, including predictions, expectations, estimates, or other information that might be considered forward-looking. Throughout today's discussion, we will present some important factors relating to our business, which may potentially affect these forward-looking statements. And these forward-looking statements are also subject to risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results to differ materially from statements being made today. As a result, we caution you from placing undue reliance on these forward-looking statements, and we encourage you to review our most recent reports, including our 10-K and 10-Q, and any applicable amendments for a complete discussion of these factors and other risks that may affect our future results or the market price of our stock. And finally, we are not obligating ourselves to revise our results or these forward-looking statements in light of new information or future events. Before taking questions, we'll begin with a few prepared remarks. And with that, I'd like to turn the call over to Safra.
Thanks, Ken, and good afternoon, everyone. Q2 was another excellent quarter with total revenue at the high end of my constant currency guidance, and EPS was actually a cent above the high end. These results are being driven by the fact that our largest revenue component, cloud services and license support, now represents 77% of total revenue and is also our fastest growing line item, which in turn is driving the acceleration of overall revenue growth. We expect cloud revenue to reach $25 billion this fiscal year. This is happening for several reasons. First, our cloud is faster and thus less expensive than other clouds. We remain the preferred cloud for AI workloads as well as for non-GPU cloud infrastructure services. In addition, our ability to deploy our cloud in many sizes gives our customers flexibility, and our multi-cloud agreements with Microsoft, Google, and AWS provide customers more choice in how they can migrate their Oracle databases to the cloud. And our strategic SaaS applications continue to grow rapidly. And we are also seeing more of our industry-based cloud applications come online, which immediately contribute to revenue growth. You can see all of this in the momentum in the acceleration of our cloud growth and the 50% growth of our $97 billion RPO number, remaining performance obligation. And today, we're telling you again that revenue growth will accelerate further in the coming quarters. Turning to Q2, and I want to remind you that our quarter ended on Saturday a week ago, and here we are announcing our results. And that's only possible because we use Oracle Fusion. Now, as for the numbers, we saw all segments exceeding our internal forecast. Now, as the dollar strengthened in the quarter, the 1% currency benefit for total revenue and the 2 to 3 cent benefit for EPS that were present in my August guidance retreated, with total revenue and EPS in Q2 essentially unaffected by currency movements. As usual, as I go over things today, I'll be discussing our financials using constant currency growth rate, as this is how we manage the business. So here goes. Total cloud revenue, that's SaaS and IaaS, was up 24% at $5.9 billion, with SaaS revenue of $3.5 billion, up 10%, and IaaS revenue of $2.4 billion, up 52%, on top of the 50% growth reported last year. As a reminder, we exited the advertising business last quarter, which had the effect of lowering the total cloud revenue growth by 2% this quarter. Total cloud services and license support for the quarter was $10.8 billion, up 12%, driven again by OCI, our strategic cloud applications, and autonomous database. Infrastructure subscription revenues, which includes license support, were $6 billion, up 17%. Record level AI demand drove Oracle Cloud Infrastructure revenue up 52%, but excluding legacy hosting infrastructure cloud services, revenue was up 55%. Our infrastructure cloud services now have an annualized revenue of $9.7 billion. OCI consumption revenue was up 58% as demand continues to outstrip supply. Growth in the AI segment of our infrastructure business was extraordinary. GPU consumption was up 336% in the quarter, and we delivered the world's largest and fastest AI supercomputer, scaling up to 65,000 NVIDIA H200 GPUs. Cloud database services, which were up 28% and now have an annualized revenue of $2.2 billion. As on-premise databases migrate to the cloud on OCI, either directly or through our database at cloud services with Azure, Google, and AWS, we expect the cloud database revenues collectively will be the third leg of revenue growth alongside OCI and strategic SaaS. We are currently live in 17 cloud regions with database at cloud services and have another 35 planned with Azure, Google, and AWS. Database subscription services, which includes database license support, were up 5%. Application subscription revenues, which includes product support, were $4.8 billion and up 7%. Our strategic back office SaaS applications now have annualized revenue of $8.4 billion, and we're up 18%. Software license revenues were up 3% to $1.2 billion, including Java, which saw excellent growth. So all in, total revenues for the quarter were $14.1 billion, up 9% from last year. Now shifting to gross profit and operating income, the gross profit dollars of cloud services and license support grew 9% in Q2. As our cloud businesses continue to scale, the gross margins of both cloud applications and cloud infrastructure have each been trending higher. We continue to display expense discipline, which of course we're known for, especially with R&D, sales and marketing, and G&A expenses, which collectively continue to grow slower than revenue, a trend that I expect to continue. The Q2 operating income grew 10%, and the operating margin was 43%, up 60 basis points from last year. The non-GAAP tax rate for the quarter was actually 20.1%, which is higher than my 19% guidance. Even as the higher tax rate lowered EPS by 2 cents, we still hit the high end of my constant currency guidance. Actually, we did better. The non-GAAP EPS was $1.47 in US dollars, up 10% in USD and 10% in constant currency. The GAAP EPS was $1.10 in USD, and that's up 24% in USD and 23% in constant currency.
All right, so guys, this is the part where I know you're bored. We want to get to Q&A. I really wish companies didn't do this. This is like not exciting, but she's just going to be talking numbers. We can't put it on 1.5x. It's live. There's no way to do this. This is a very interesting woman, though, the way she speaks. It's kind of like you got in trouble and you got sent to the principal's office and she's like talking very slowly to explain what you did wrong. That's like the vibe I'm getting. But yeah, I think like maybe 10 more minutes of this and then we get some questions. It's not more boring than Titanic. Relax. Titanic was a little bit more exciting than this.
Year 2025 CapEx will be double what it was in fiscal year FY24. As always, we remain careful to pace and align our CapEx investments appropriately and in line with booking trends. On a trailing 12-month basis, operating cash flow was up 19% at $20.3 billion, and free cash flow was $9.5 billion. Our remaining performance obligation, or RPO, is now at $97.3 billion, up 50% in constant currency, and reflects the growing trend of customers wanting larger and longer contracts as they see firsthand how Oracle Cloud Services are benefiting their businesses. Further, our cloud RPO grew nearly 80% and now represents nearly 3/4 of total RPO. Approximately 39% of the total RPO is expected to be recognized as revenue over the next 12 months, and we continue to see the growth of current RPO accelerate. We have now about 98 cloud regions live and many, many more to follow. That we have more cloud regions than any of the other hyperscaler reflects the strategic advantage of our Gen 2 architecture. We can start a new cloud region with a handful of racks and then scale up with customer demands. Additionally, our data centers are highly automated and identical in features and function, varying only in scale. This sizing flexibility and deployment optionality of our cloud regions continue to be a significant advantage for us. As we've said before, we're committed to returning value to our shareholders through technical innovation, acquisitions, stock repurchases, prudent use of debt, and a dividend. This quarter, we repurchased nearly 1 million shares for a total of $150 million. In addition, we paid out dividends of $4.4 billion over the last 12 months, and the board of directors again declared a quarterly dividend of 40 cents per share. Before I dive into specific Q3 guidance, I'd like to share some overarching thoughts about the financial benefits I expect we will see over the coming quarters and years. To start, we continue to see excellent demand for our cloud services, which you see in our RPO growth. And while this growth is stellar, our pipeline is actually growing even faster, and our win rates are growing higher, with the recent win at Meta being a prime example of why we expect that our RPO balance will climb again in Q3. Meta was not booked in the Q2 quarter, only in Q3. In fiscal year 2024, we signed some big deals, and many have begun to generate revenue. We expect that those will continue to ramp higher in the second half and be a key contributor to revenue growth acceleration this year and next. For fiscal year 2025, we remain very confident and committed to full year total revenue growing double digit and full year total cloud infrastructure growing faster than the 50% reported last year. Okay, let me now turn to guidance, which I'll review on a non-GAAP basis. In terms of currency, we've seen a dramatic shift due to significant strengthening of the US dollar. To put this in perspective, in Q2, we expected currency to have a 3-cent positive effect on EPS. For Q3, assuming exchange rates remain the same as they are now, currency should have a 3-cent negative effect on EPS and a 2% negative effect on revenue. However, as the dollar strengthened, it may not hold out the whole quarter and may be different. All right. Total revenue are expected to grow from 9 to 11% in constant currency and are expected to grow from 7 to 9% in USD at today's exchange rate. Total cloud revenue is expected to grow from 25 to 27% in constant currency and is expected to grow from 23 to 25 in USD. Non-GAAP EPS is expected to grow between 7 to 9% and be between $1.50 and $1.54 in constant currency. Non-GAAP EPS is expected to grow between 4 to 6% and be between $1.47 and $1.41 in USD. I should mention that my Q3 EPS guidance is negatively impacted by 5 cents due to an investment loss in another company that we are a partial owner of. Lastly, my EPS guidance for Q3 assumes a base tax rate of 19%. However, like in Q2, one-time tax events and other things can cause actual tax rates to vary. And with that, I'll turn it over to Larry for his comments.
All right, here we go.
Thank you, Safra. Oracle Cloud Infrastructure trains several of the world's most important generative AI models. Our major AI customers include OpenAI, xAI, NVIDIA, Cohere, and most recently Meta with their large-scale Llama models. Oracle continues to win large AI training workloads because we're faster and less expensive than the other infrastructure clouds. And we just extended our AI performance advantage. by delivering the largest and fastest AI supercomputer in the world, scaling up to 65,000 NVIDIA H200 GPUs. The Oracle Cloud trains dozens of AI models and embeds hundreds of AI agents in cloud applications. Oracle's AI agents automate drug design, image and genomic analysis for cancer diagnostics, audio updates to electronic health records for patient care, satellite image analysis to predict and improve agricultural output, fraud and money laundering detection, dual-factor biometric computer logins, and real-time video weapons detection in schools. Furthermore, the vector capabilities of the new AI version of our database, Oracle 23AI, enables our customers to easily use their existing data in their existing databases to augment and specialize the training of industry-standard generative AI models like ChatGPT, Grok, and Llama. The Oracle Cloud and the Oracle 23AI vector database makes it easy for our customers to build their own AI agents and use their own data to reap the benefits of the AI revolution. Oracle is training AI models and developing AI agents that will improve the rate of scientific discovery and economic development and corporate growth throughout the world. The scale of this opportunity is unimaginable. As Safra said, this fiscal year, total Oracle Cloud revenue should top $25 billion. And this is just the beginning of the beginning. Back to you.
Thank you, Larry. Rob, if you could please poll the audience for questions.
All right,
Thank you.
Q&A.
We will now begin the question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question, please press star one in your telephone keypad to raise your hand and join the queue. If you would like to withdraw your question, simply press star one again. Your first question today comes from the line of Mark Merdler from Bernstein. Your line is open.
Thank you very much for taking my question and congratulations on the quarter. I'd like to gain better insight into OCI. OCI is designed differently from its larger peers, deliverable in just 10 and shortly 3 racks of servers. Could you explain how the architectural difference impacts how you build and deliver OCI racks and how it will impact how many data center regions you could have compared to your peers? And then how might this affect your CapEx growth over the next 5 years? Thanks.
Okay, well, all the data centers are the same racks. So you can think of it as completely modular. We have a basic rack, and to build a region takes 6 racks, the smallest region we can build. So our racks, start at, under 50 kilowatts. And our biggest data center, so our basic small data centers, 50 kilowatts. And our data centers, the largest data center we're currently building now is 1.6 gigawatts. So that's quite a range, 50 megawatts to 1.6 gigawatts. And when we build them and we put them in inventory, the racks are pretty much the same. So it's very easy for us to manufacture these. It's lower cost to manufacture these. The inventory is less because they're all kind of the same. Furthermore, every cloud region has all of our services. They have all the same services. So it's easy for customers. We don't have to provision like our competitors do. Our competitors have some of their services in some regions and some of their services in other regions. We have all of our services in all of our regions, even though we are both smaller in terms of our smallest region and larger in terms of our largest region than our competitors. When all of our racks are the same and all of our services are the same, they become very easy, or I should say easier to automate. They're all identical. We have one suite of automation tools that works in all 100 of our current regions. And it makes it possible, because of the high degree of automation, to run not dozens of regions, but hundreds or even theoretically thousands of regions, as individual customers are dedicating their own region. Individual customers are buying complete Oracle regions and installing them. What seems like it would be on-premise, though it is a full Oracle Cloud region, just happens to be in a dedicated data center to that customer. We are selling a lot of those as well. So it allows us to address a market that our competitors can't reach. So standardization, automation, and from the smallest to the largest data centers give us a huge advantage in competing in this marketplace.
On the CapEx side, what we can do, since our competitors always have to land with extremely large footprints before they can even get started, we can land with smaller footprints, have consumption, and expand as customers need it. And this allows us to really match our capital expenditure with ultimately our revenue, because we don't have to spend a long time with empty centers, because we literally can start small and just fill them up as our customers are consuming. And I think this is really something that is expressed also in the profitability of our cloud and keeps showing up because of that.
Extremely helpful. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Your next question comes from the line of Siti Panigrahi from Mizuho. Your line is open.
Thanks for taking my question. It's impressive to see OCI growth 52% and even database as a service up 28%. So as you execute on your multi-cloud strategy, can you provide some color on the database migration to cloud or even database as a service traction? And what are you hearing from customer as they prepare to migrate on-prem database to cloud? And how should we think about the contribution to revenue going forward?
Well, you go ahead, Larry, and then I'll finish. Go ahead.
Nope.
All right, let me start. As I mentioned, and as you caught in my talking, 28%, it's now annualized revenue, just the cloud database services, of $2.2 billion. And imagine that is mostly, nearly entirely OCI without even the database at AWS and Azure and Google. That also, though, has grown from zero to 100 million plus run rate already, past 100 million, and will be hundreds of millions probably as an exit. So these cloud regions have only started opening. As I mentioned, though, we do now have 17 open and twice as many opening. So I think what you're going to see is the database, as it moves to the cloud, is really only at the beginning. In addition, though, I want to remind you that Clouded customers and our Alloy partners are also contributing to this, and we have an enormous pipeline of customers who want to bring their databases to the cloud, but a number of them want to do it in their own dedicated regions that are just their own for either regulatory reasons or sovereignty reasons. Again, an offering that only we have, that none of our competitors have.
Yeah, again, Microsoft is the only partner where the contract is more than a year old. So Google is much more recent, and AWS even more recent than Google. So we're at the very beginning of multi-cloud. And as Safra said, it's going to exit well over $100 million in its first year. the first year is starting when we got AWS, when we had all three. It will be a multi-billion-dollar business, and it'll be a combination of AWS and Google and Azure, plus all of these cloud at customer, dedicated region cloud at customer. We're going to have hundreds of those regions. The demand from individual customers, large banks, telecommunication companies, building half a dozen or so data centers. They want us to build a half a dozen data centers, sometimes more, inside their own dedicated facilities. So they'll run the Oracle Cloud in dedicated regions. And again, we'll end up with hundreds of those, and it clearly is going to be a very large, rapidly growing, multi-billion-dollar business for us.
That's great color. Thanks, Larry and Safra.
Thank you. Ken, I think I misspoke. Could you actually say the line correctly that I was supposed to say about guidance?
Sure, absolutely. Non-GAAP EPS is expected to grow between 4% to 6% and be between $1.47 and $1.51 in US dollar. Thank you.
Sorry, I don't know what I said exactly, but that is correct. Thanks.
Your next question comes from a line of Brad Zelnick from Deutsche Bank. Your line is open.
Great. Thank you, and congrats on the continued acceleration at scale. Larry, as Oracle leads with larger and larger GPU clusters, there's healthy industry debate around scaling laws, with Elon Musk allegedly pushing the envelope of what's possible. I'm curious to hear your perspective as to whether there's diminishing returns on the amount of compute thrown at model training and Oracle's ongoing leadership in AI infrastructure and GPU superclusters. Thanks.
Well, there's two elements to speeding up training. One is building larger and larger GPU clusters made up of faster and faster GPUs. So it's a GPU cluster itself. The second element, something Oracle has been very, very focused on, is building networks that rapidly move large volumes of data into those GPU clusters. As you make these GPU clusters larger and faster, it's putting more and more demands on the network to be able to move huge amounts of data into those GPU clusters, so the GPU clusters aren't sitting there waiting for the data. If they're sitting there waiting for the data, it becomes very inefficient. If you're paying by the minute, and half the time, 30 seconds, you don't have the data available. Obviously, that's a scaling problem, and that's an economic problem, and that's a performance problem. Oracle differentiates itself in its data centers by investing heavily in building networks, and by the way, switch software, all sorts of network software, and network hardware to move data more quickly. We think the demand is really, as the GPU clusters get bigger and faster, the critical thing is for us to be able to move the data faster. And we are investing heavily in that, and we think we're going to maintain our advantage there. And that will, as we make our networks faster, the AI training will get faster. If no one makes the networking faster, then I think there's a potential bottleneck. But we're trying to avoid that bottleneck by speeding up our networking.
Thank you.
Your next question comes from a line of Raimo Lenschow from Barclays. Your line is open.
Perfect. Thank you. Can I shift gear a little bit and go to the SaaS part of the business? And if you look at your growth rates, I mean, we're at kind of a late stage point of the cycle where people usually don't look at their back office systems, but you guys putting up like really solid growth numbers there. You're outgrowing the peers. Can you talk a little bit of what's going on there? Thank you.
Actually, I don't agree with you that folks aren't looking at their back office systems. In fact, I think there's enormous amount of pressure to be more efficient for many companies. The competition is fierce in basically all industries right now. And as companies, when they look at us, for example, that's why I always point out that it's, day 9, and that includes 3 weekend days. since our quarter closed, that just shows how efficient you can be in running your operations. And a lot of company executives actually come up to me and say, we need to do that. We need to do more and spend a lot less doing it. And we see enormous, enormous pipeline in customers who understand that they can first automate and simplify their own businesses to spend less so they can invest in the things that differentiate them. But there's also enormous interest in using their data for AI and using those systems. We have, I don't know, dozens and dozens of AI agents that can really help companies spend a lot less and really do a better job serving their customers. So we find enormous interest in this area, and no one has the capability and the data and the AI capability that Oracle can bring to a customer. So actually, I think it's been one of the most exciting times in back office and in front office too. We have even our front office systems also taking advantage of so many of our capabilities for our customers. So this has been a great time. And in fact, our booking trends, which you don't see yet in revenues because we wait until they're implemented, our booking trends have taken a marked step up. We were going over those just today, and they've accelerated from last year quite significantly.
Thank you.
Your next question comes from a line of Kirk Materne from Evercore ISI. Your line is open.
Yes, thanks very much, and congrats on the results. Safra, you talked a little bit about the pipeline strength at the end of your prepared comments. Can you just talk about your line of sight in terms of capacity coming online so that you all can recognize some of the revenue that's associated with the demand that you're seeing, specifically around on the OCI side? Thanks.
Yes, so the second half of this year is, and especially, well, the second half we're in it, is going to see a lot of capacity come online that we've been waiting for and that we've been working on. So we expect that you're going to see that turning into revenues. Everything's accelerating even more. And in addition, though, we also expect our RPO to start moving up, the actual base RPO number, which is, of course, up 50% year over year, but the number itself, we expect it to spike in this quarter and for the end of the year. So we expect both capacity to come online for our customers, which it is, and so it'll burn down some of our RPO, but we also simultaneously expect to sign a number of very large contracts that will make our RPO number go up too.
And your final question comes from a line of John DiFucci from Guggenheim Securities. Your line is open.
Thank you. Safra, you've shown us, I'm going to switch gears a little bit and go down to the bottom line here versus the top line. You've shown us for years that Oracle's not going to do what I'll call empty business, that you don't make good profit on. It's been a while, but you've previously said that OCI gross margins have improved consistently, and I think you just mentioned it again in your prepared remarks. And I think the last time you actually threw out a number was a while ago, but it was in the low 30s for gross margins for OCI, and that was several quarters ago. Can you give us an update on the progress of that, especially given the massive growth you're seeing?
It's really amazing, but we are continuing to benefit from a number of things in OCI. So our gross margin percentage continues to improve. And I know that many of you think that GPU business or OCI base infrastructure business, it is not as profitable. And yet our margins in that business just continue to improve because of the number of things that Larry mentioned. For example, the way we run our cloud, the way we set up our cloud, everything's automated, everything is run. Because we are a software company to the core, we're always optimizing our software capabilities, which give us really enormous leverage. Our operating margins in OCI again improved, and it's just gonna, it's been really fantastic. So they improve in OCI, our SaaS margins improve, everything is improving with scale for us, even as we're investing. So it just continues to improve.
That's great to hear, and we continue to watch closely. So thank you.
Thank you, John. A telephonic replay of this conference call will be available for 24 hours on our investor relations website. But thank you for joining.
Okay. This was boring. I don't even know if I got anything from this call. I mean, I wrote down some notes. GPU clusters are getting larger. We have to move huge amounts of data. Oracle is investing in the network hardware infrastructure to be able to move that data. Network hardware is more differentiated as the GPUs get better to make sure the data moves quickly. I mean, did anyone get anything from this? Like, I got Larry Ellison kind of talking about like why GPU clusters are important. But outside of that, there wasn't any of those like mic drop moments like he had in the last call, where he talked about the capacity of training models. He talked about why it was so important to train models, kind of talked around the philosophy around how AI is an accelerant. And, he's probably bored and tired of singing the same narrative around why AI is so important. I get it, but I mean, you only have to do it 4 times a year. So I don't know why he would be bored today. But that was, I expected to listen to this and get some value out of it. Like learn a little bit more about where the AI ecosystem is going. I got nothing out of this one. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't listening good enough. But I was taking notes, and there was just not enough stuff to write down. I mean, a lot of these questions were about margins and numbers, I guess, because that's where they are at this point of the year. It's not about kind of big picture AI stuff. But I don't know. Didn't get anything too crazy. Gene said last call was more informative. Yeah, there were like legit quotes from Larry Ellison that multiple Twitter accounts were posting last time because they were really good quotes on the state of AI. I didn't really get those this time, but maybe I'll go through the transcript again and see if there's anything there. Oracle stock down 7.8%. It was down 6%. Originally was down 10%. Call didn't give that much excitement around their future vision. This one now down 7.5%. I think realistically, it's not down because of the call, not down because of the numbers. It's down because it was up 80% year to date, and they just didn't show a ton of growth against what the market needed to see to take them up another 10 or 15%, right? And so that's why I think it's down. MongoDB gave back all of its gains. It was up 10%. Now it's up 1.3%. I don't know what they said on the earnings, but it wasn't exciting, I would imagine, to shareholders because that's a hell of a drop after hours. Still green though. And then C3 AI keeping its 11%. It was up 18%, now up 11%, but still keeping some of its gains here. Today was also a crappy data report. This was one of the, not the worst days in the market in a while, but kind of, yeah, it was kind of like one of the more crappier days we've seen in the past couple of weeks. So reporting today definitely wasn't the best thing. The chat was funny. I agree. The chat, we have the best chat on YouTube, bro. We have the best chat on YouTube. That was a bit more entertaining than this call. Also, this lady, bro, what was up with her? Like, she's a mixture of AI, a mixture of slow talking, a mixture of just like enunciating every single syllable in every word. It was very interesting. Casey's beat on the top and the bottom line. They're slightly down. They were up 1%. They're down 1% right now. But they beat on the top and the bottom line. So I'll go through the rest of their numbers, but at least on top line, they did not have a bad earnings. They're slightly down 1%. Bitcoin not holding above 97,000, man. Bitcoin's being annoying. Crypto is all down. Actually, no, it's all up after hours, but it's because it all got wrecked in the morning. CleanSpark's up about 1%. Coinbase up 1.3. Robinhood up 0.5. Cypher, Iran, HUD, MicroStrategy, all of them up a little bit after hours. So people kind of are making the argument, I guess, through crypto stocks that they don't expect this Bitcoin flush to 94,000 to last that long. We were just at 97,000, back to 96.5. We got flushed 2 times in the past 2 weeks. Last week, it was down from 104 to 92. Today, it was basically 100 to 94, back at 96. A little bit of a bumpy ride that we've been having over the past couple weeks with Bitcoin. But we are holding the 90s, which is a good thing. Moon Machine says, I'm used to admit fast talking. That lady is torture. Yeah, I'm used to myself fast talking as well. So it's kind of hard to just listen to. I just don't understand the point of reading the financials, bro. All the analysts have it. Everyone can see the numbers. Like, the only part of this stuff that's valuable is the Q&A. Now, I know they have to do it, but like the NVIDIA one was worse, though. At least her mic was better than the NVIDIA lady. She like, $3 trillion company, mic was horrible. And she spent a good, I would say 37 to 38 minutes. It was closing in on 40 minutes, I remember, just saying their numbers. And then finally Jensen got it. So at least it wasn't that bad as the NVIDIA one. I've never heard someone refer to the company guidance as my guidance. That was funny. That was funny as well. That was funny. She was like, what's my guidance? All right. I think that's it. Steve was actually calling me in the middle of this. I couldn't pick up because we were listening to this thing. Like, I couldn't bring him into the show because we were listening to the call. Honestly, that would have been more fun than the call. But I'll ask Steve about what he thinks about XRP. I'll get his thoughts on it. Even though XRP is fine, bro. It's sold off with Bitcoin. Now it's right back. Like, all these cryptos are going to move with each other. XRP is at 220. It was at 202 like 30 minutes ago. As long as Bitcoin holds, it'll hold as well. No, that's the problem with the earnings calls, bro. If I say that's it, I would be talking for the next 30 minutes. That's the problem. I'm going to treat it as a stream. And if I treat it as a stream, I would keep investors listening forever, bro. Could you imagine if we had could you imagine if public CEOs got to do like a stream for earnings calls and they could just like sit in front of the camera and talk to the chat, and like Barclays and JP Morgan would be in the chat? Like, that's actually a cool idea, bro. Like a CEO live stream. Because like theoretically, nothing stops you from doing that. Like, you see all these companies acting all like uniform for earnings. It's all a pile of horseshit. They can do whatever they want. They just are so afraid to do things differently, which is why Palantir is the only one that does like a video conference. But you can do whatever you want. Like, you could have 3 analysts, you could have 10 analysts. You could be in a barn, you could be in video, you could be in audio. You could do it. It's your company. You can do whatever you want. You just have to like submit the earnings documents. You don't even have to have the call. GameStop doesn't even have a call. So, I mean, theoretically, you could do a call on YouTube via stream and just like talk to the chat. That would be a way. That could happen. Amit, do you know why there's so many insider sales recently on Grab? These are not scheduled. I don't know, and I really don't care. I don't care. Dude, at the end of the day, when you look at insider selling, you have to look at the fundamentals of the business. And from everything I know, which are the numbers that I've looked at for the past 2 weeks to develop my thesis, I think those numbers are going up. I don't care if insiders are selling. Like, I really don't care. Like, they could do whatever. They could sell it. Insiders have their shares at 0.0005 cents and they're selling it at 5. That's great for them. I'm happy. I'm buying it at 5 because I believe it's a fair valuation. Now, I could be wrong, but at the end of the day, I think it can go to 7. And so I really don't care why they're selling. If something happens next quarter and they miss the bet on earnings, you crap the bed, then maybe the insider selling was a tell sign. But from even the guidance they gave on the earnings call, which I listened to last week, I think Q4 is going to be great for Grab. So I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters too much. Again, same thing with Carp, right? Palantir, insider selling, like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just they're probably selling because they think it's a little expensive here, but you have people willing to buy because they think it's cheap. And that's just kind of how it plays out. I really think the Grab conviction and the thesis is sound. I don't want to talk too much about it. I've already talked enough about it, but I've been talking to a lot of people about Grab. I mean, when I get into a stock, I start asking as many people as I can. I try to get an understanding of it. There's a decent amount of people that I personally know that are in the name. I was like, you're in the name? They're like, yeah. I was like, what? You're in this thing? They're like, yeah, dude, I've been in this thing since $4. I'm like, oh, so I'm late to this party. But I do think that it'll play out. I think it'll be good. I think we'll be good. I think $10 in 2 years is reasonable. 7.5 next year, I think is possible. They just got to keep being profitable, keep getting good free cash flow, keep increasing EBITDA margins, and they should be good. Institutions beg them to sell. Yeah, that's fair. That could happen. So let's talk movies. What are you going to try to watch next? Well, your guys' favorite movie that I asked, no one said Inception. I think maybe one person said Inception. So I don't know which movies you guys are watching, but I think Inception is objectively I think Inception's top 5 movie of all time. I think it's probably the best movie of all time. Interstellar's up there as well, though. But a lot of you guys named like Forrest Gump. I haven't watched Forrest Gump either. I don't care. You guys can get mad at me. I haven't watched that movie yet. I need to watch it one day, but I haven't seen Forrest Gump. I tried to watch Fast and Furious the other day on Netflix and I got bored, so I turned that one off. Shawshank Redemption I did see 10 years ago. I think it's a good movie. I think it's a little bit too much hype, but I think it's a good movie. Shawshank Redemption is good. It's a good movie. But I think it is hyped up a bit. I think Inception and Interstellar are the best ones of all time. Ty says you can't make all-time declarations when you haven't seen most movies. That's fair. But still, Interception. That's a new movie. Interception, bro. That's what Christopher Nolan needs to come up with. Interstellar and Inception, I think, are the best ones ever, in my opinion. A combination of the two, I think, would either be a terrible disaster or be one of the best movies of all time. Maybe one of those. Anyway, yeah, I think, look, that was Oracle earnings. Nothing that exciting. Broader market took a little bit of a crap today, but overall, that's okay. I mean, I don't know, man. Do we think Palantir was going to $90? Like at some point, it probably needed a little bit of retracement. We saw that today. And even with the retracement, that's 73, bro. Like it's not really a retracement, to be honest. It's just got people excited because it went to 83, but then it came back down. Rocket Lab down 5%. S&P was down about 0.5%. Google, this quantum computing thing is actually giving Google some legs right here. It's up another 0.5% after hours, up 0.5% today. Again, Google's still relatively cheap compared to all the other Mac 7s. So maybe Google really is the easiest buy out of all of them. And this quantum computing news gets a lot more people excited about their potential innovation, which people haven't been excited about Google's innovation in a long time. But if their computer can solve a problem in 5 minutes that takes 10 septillion years to solve, then maybe that definitely is something exciting that deserves a premium or some momentum. By the way, all right, so we'll end out on this. I don't think I've seen Shutter Island. Have I seen that one? That's with Leonardo DiCaprio, right? 2010? Yeah, I haven't watched this one yet. I've heard of it, but I haven't watched this one yet. I need to watch that one. So Technical Tuesday tomorrow. Yes, Technical Tuesday will be tomorrow. So they found the guy. Oh, shit. Holy crap. They found the guy that murdered the United Healthcare CEO. And apparently, this is breaking news. Is this real, bro? They're saying he has a video scheduled on YouTube that's going to be coming out soon. YouTube might have pulled it down. Let me show you guys this. So they found the guy. The guy's a Pennsylvania grad, UPenn, Ivy League kid, CS major, like conventionally smart, software engineer, all that stuff. Apparently on his YouTube channel an hour ago, he scheduled a video called the video was posted called The Truth. And it says, if you see this, I'm already under arrest. Oh, that's it. That's the video. All is scheduled. Be patient. Bye for now. You guys see that at the very end? I don't know if YouTube took down this video yet or not. But there you go. You can't say the M word. Really? You get demonetized for saying that word? That's a thing? I did not know that. Okay, so I guess you can't say that. But he killed. Do we use that word instead? The point is, they found the guy. I didn't even know this. They had this YouTube video out, but this was obviously this happened today, and this was like a big deal across the entire market. The part that's wild, though, like absolutely wild. I said it in the chat during the call. There's a meme coin about this guy already. There's a meme coin about this guy already on Solana, and it was up 80%. You have to say unalive. Okay, well, I didn't know that. But look at that. There's a meme coin already. Circulating supply of 1 million coins for this guy's, I guess, coin that represents his life or whatever. This is a wild, bro. Absolutely wild. First of all, it was wild that that thing happened last week. Second of all, it was wild that that they made a meme coin out of it. Third of all, it's wild that they caught him and that it kind of seems like he wanted to be caught to an extent. A little bit of a catch me if you can type of trail. This is what the guy looks like right here. And he was seen like at a bank before he left, and it was kind of like he wanted to show his picture or show who he was, but the webcams caught him across everywhere he was. He had fake IDs, all this stuff, had a silencer, bunch of stuff, and they found him. And the crypto bros made a meme coin about him, which is wild. So absolutely insane. Nonetheless, that did indeed happen. I think, my personal take on this is that I think the reaction by some people applauding what he did is very sad. I don't think violence is the answer to any of the broader social problems we're having. Because at that point, like, what is the logical extreme? Do we just hurt every single CEO that exists because they have more money than us, right? So it's tough, bro, because there are people in this country, just like people that are, happy for Hamas, that are applauding this. And it's not that there's not an argument around the corruptness in the healthcare system. That's objectively true. And United Healthcare has also objectively been one of the worst healthcare providers in terms of claim approvals and denials. It's just, do you really kill someone who does? Like, I don't think that's the way you go. It quite literally is an example of eat the rich. I mean, it's Occupy Wall Street, but they're taking it to the violence part of it, and that's where you get, when people say, one thing it did make me kind of think about a lot more is this idea of wealth inequality, and the fact that if wealth inequality or just general inequality gets to a point that is so massive, you will have people. But it's just ironic because this dude's an Ivy League fucking grad, and he has a software paying engineer. Like, this guy's not poor. This guy, this guy is doing well in life from like a conventional perspective. But you will have other people, I would imagine, in the future that are not doing as well as him, that didn't go to an Ivy League school, and they'll say, screw it. And they're just going to go for violence. I mean, we've seen this happen time and time and time again in history. Life is a game. And if the game gets that unequal, if people don't feel like they are on somewhat of a level playing field in the game, you're going to get a lot of people that just say, screw the game. And you might end up having some horrible things happen as a result of that. So, yeah, that is what we got in terms of the update on him. And the fact that they made a meme coin about him is wild, but it seems like that's also happening as well. You've seen it happen in movies. Yeah. I mean, even the Joker was kind of partly about the problems with capitalism. Squid Game was kind of a movie that was also based on this. By the way, I'm excited for Squid Game 2. I told you guys already, but I'm very excited about Squid Game 2 on Netflix. That's going to be the one thing. You guys know I don't watch shows or movies. That thing I am binging on December 26th. I'm going to wake up late for the freaking market open the next day. When's December 26th? Is that a weekend? That's Thursday. I really don't have a Christmas break, bro, because the markets are still open. I mean, I guess Christmas Eve is closed, and like 24th and 25th, Christmas Eve and Christmas are closed, but then 26th, 27th, I think the markets are open that week. Right? I don't think markets are closed on 26th and 27th. I think they're closed on the 31st, but we're still working that week. We are still working that week. As always, I don't wake up late every day. I woke up at like 6 a.m. today. I wake up early. But I start late because like it's just like a trillion things going on in the morning. And that's why we start late. All right. I think that's it, folks. The Oracle earnings was decent. Numbers weren't that interesting. Growth was whatever, but the broader market really doesn't care too much about it. So we'll kind of see how they react tomorrow. Palantir is up 0.88% In the after hours, Oracle's down 8%. There you go. You got Palantir right here, up a little bit right now. Robinhood as well, up about 0.5%. Palantir 0.88%. Tesla up another 0.5%. And then you have Bitcoin trying to get back to 98,000, but kind of holding above that 97,000 current level right now. Yo, Michelle is playing with me, bro. I think that's it. I said I think that's it like 20 minutes ago. I'm sure I did. And then we ended up talking about something. I think that's it, guys. What time is it? 6 o'clock? All right. We'll end the stream at 6:15 now. What time is Hood Weekly? 9:30. 9:30. I'll be back in 3 hours. It's not like I'm taking too much of a break. I'll be back in 3 hours. And yeah, I don't know how many of you are interested in Hood Weekly. I think some of you are. I'm interested in it. I'll have fun doing it. I'm actually excited to do the show. There's so much to talk about every day when it comes to Hood. And I think whoever's interested, we'll be live every Monday. And you guys can come in. I'll also enjoy just the dynamics of the show. I was telling Tanner last night, Tanner's very rigid. Tanner's a very straightforward guy. And I remember on SoFi Weekly, I would just ask him questions and try to loosen him up. And it would be really funny because he's so uncomfortable. And so I think it's a fun dynamic with Tanner because he's very I don't know how to describe him. Even in person, he's that type of guy. So it'll be fun. It'll be a good one. And then Roy is awesome. Roy knows about Robinhood a lot, so it'll be good. The channel will be on all three of our channels, mine, Tanner, and Roy's. So you can go to whichever one you want, but it'll be on this one as well. Why don't you do the Hood Weekly at 7:45? Honestly, it's just because scheduling, dude. It's when you do it at night, it's easier for everyone to just make it versus early in the day. But we'll see. Well, last night, maybe people hate this time. We'll figure it out. We'll try to get some feedback from people, but I think 9:30 is a decent Monday time. Technical Tuesday tomorrow. Yes, Technical Tuesday will be tomorrow. We'll have Jason on, and Jason's getting kind of bullish on Google. So, he hates Google. He's starting to get a little bit more bullish from a technical perspective. So we'll have Jason on as well. Tanner, Roy, and I are on Hood Weekly, but we'll have plenty of guests. There's plenty of people in the Hood community that would like to be guests, but Tanner, Roy, and I will be there every single week. Was there any gold announcement today? Yes, there was. I'll talk about it on the show today, but also on my Twitter. If you just scroll down, I did a post on it. I already talked about it on the show here earlier, but they did have an announcement, and we'll talk about it tonight as well. But again, it's on my Twitter. Grab's at 540. Dude, the only fear I have with Grab is that this freaking thing gets to $6 before my position is done. I don't think it will. There's too many shares outstanding for this thing to actually go to $6 by January. I really don't think we're going to $6 by January. There's 4 billion shares, bro. It's not going to be easy for that to happen. So I think we'll be stuck in 5 to 550 because I am not done buying, and I really am not trying to buy this thing at $6. Especially because every dollar really matters for Grab. If my price target's only $10, I want to get as much exposure as I can in the 5s. So I think it stays below 6. I hope, but we're gonna have to see. There's the downgrades are definitely, they're trying to keep it below. That's another reason I'm loading up right now. All these stupid downgrades are actively, you can just tell they're trying to keep it depressed. And I'm all right, so that's because you guys are buying right now. And that's what I'm trying to do as well. All right, I think that's it. Stays for another 20 minutes, but I actually think that's it. I think that's it loading. I have 2,800 shares for Grab. I'm trying to get to 10,000, but I have 2,800. Did you watch The Good Place? I was just rewatching that one. It's good. What's The Good Place? That's a movie? Oh, that's a series? No, I haven't seen this. The Good Place? No, I've never seen this. 8.2 out of 10, huh? All right, I'll put it on the list of things I'll never watch ever. Every time you guys mention something and I'm all right, yeah, I'll check it out. Dude, nope. Not when it comes to movies. For stocks, yes. I actually look at the stocks picks that you guys put out. But for movies or shows, it's tough, bro. Because then I think of actually turning it on and then I just do something else. Put on a podcast or something. Amid taking a 3-hour smoke break before Robinhood Weekly. Oh my gosh. I don't know why weed kept coming up today so much, bro. Like it just became a topic today in the open and on the close. He doesn't want to leave us. Yes, that's correct. I don't want to leave you guys. All right. I think that actually is it, though. It's time to end the stream. I actually do have to finish a couple things, and then we'll get ready for Robin to Weekly. So now I'm doing 3 shows every Monday. 3 shows every Monday. So Mondays are occupied now. Mondays are definitely going to be filled with content. 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, then 1 in the night. Every Monday. Grinding, baby. We got to grind. This is like keeping your teacher talking about something other than the assignment. Oh my gosh, bro. I used to be good at this, bro. You guys, you know I'm a talker, right, dude? I remember my Spanish teacher, bro. I would ask this man a question, dude. We would talk for 40 minutes before he started teaching us Spanish. And then we would have 20 minutes left of class. And I'd be like, sayonara. There we go. We're gone. I suck at Spanish, by the way. I took Spanish for like 6 years. I barely know how to talk Spanish. But legit, bro. Because you know what I do is, even on the podcast today with Farzad, like I started asking them questions and they were like, bro, we're interviewing you. But I don't know, dude. It's something about asking questions and being inquisitive that I enjoy. So you just end up talking so much. And you're doing it again. Yo, speaking of teachers, I'm like a pseudo teacher, right? Because I coach these 3 kids in California. I told you guys for a debate. And over the weekend, they were at a tournament. And this was the first tournament where they actually did well in the preliminary rounds. There's 6 preliminary rounds. You have to win 4 of them to move on to the elimination rounds, where you have 3 judges and you have to win on a 2-1 decision at least to move on. And one of my kids got all the way to quarterfinals. And then on quarterfinals, he calls us up and he's like, bro, I think I fucking won. And in my head, I'm like, all right, well, I hope so. I didn't listen to the round. I hope it happened. But he was like, I think there's a shot. And then they announced the decision and it's a 2-1 against him. And I could just I was on the phone and I could tell his fucking heart just gets ripped out of his, like, damn it. Like, you know, because debate is tough, bro. When you lose on a 2-1 decision, that means you just needed 1 judge to think differently. And you could have won the debate and moved on to semifinals. But he lost. And I told him, bro, this is what I went through as well when I was his age as a sophomore and as a junior. It's like you do really well during the tournament. Then you get to these octafinals, quarterfinal rounds, and you lose on a heartbreaking 2-1. And you kind of just got to be like, all right, I guess I'm moving on to the next tournament. But it's tough. It's tough to like go through some of that stuff. But it builds your character, right? And I think that's the important thing. Like if you can get up after losing on a 2-1, especially because it's such a subjective activity because it's debate and like, you know, it's not 2 + 2 is 4. It's 2 + 2 could be 22 to a judge, and you can't do anything about it because they have the ballot. So it's one of those things where you just have to keep trying to be better. But I bring this up to say that like it's all in the name of communication, right? How much can you talk? How can you galvanize people's attention and keep their attention there by continuously, hopefully asking good questions to kind of bring it all together. If you ask him about debates, we'll be on for another hour. Did anyone watch the debate that I linked in the chat? Did anyone see me from 2016 debating? That was a good debate. Talk people into submission. Yes, exactly. It was a good one. It was a good one if you watched it. We lost on a 3-2, which was disgusting. It was such a bad decision, but it was such a bad decision, bro. I met this guy at Pounter from Denmark, and I was like, bro, I have a thing against your country. And he was like, what happened? I was like, you guys beat me on a 3-2 decision. I will like always have a thing against Denmark. Always. Always. Because they beat me. Sir, I do not know, but I'm pretty sure you are the same guy outside of your studio. Same always, not a pretending soul. I appreciate that. You know, honestly, I am. I'm pretty much the same guy outside of the streams, bro. There's not really that much of a difference. I think I'm pretty much the same. There's nothing that different. I mean, the jokes I make on stream are corny. The jokes I make outside of the stream are corny. I yap a lot outside of the stream. I yap on the stream. I don't think I'm that different off the streams. I'm pretty much the same guy. I would imagine I'm the same guy. That L lives rent-free in Amit's head in perpetuity, dude, for the rest of my life. That freaking L is going to live rent-free. This is the video again for those that haven't seen it. This is the link. You guys can check it out here. Did you guys hold on? Let me. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'm going to show you guys. I had the same feeling that my kid had over the weekend. when I lost on a 3-2, and they have my reaction right here. So they're going to announce it at the very end. You guys are going to see my reaction, bro. I was fucking pissed, bro. Wow, they just announced. All right, look at this. Look at this, bro. I'm just going to be so annoyed.
That people who are not a racial minority are not denied, even if they are of a lower class. So basically, those are like the two principal things that we thought were
The debate was race more important than class? That was the debate.
Important for this debate. So without further ado, I'm just going to read out the decisions. Okay, first paper we have Prop USA. Okay, the second paper we have Op.
I was already surprised there. I thought we won on a 5-0. I was like, who the fuck voted for these guys? They fucking sucked. I was like, did they even get one ballot? Like, I was like, what is going on?
This one is Prop. This one coincidentally is Op.
And then this is the moment. This is the moment where we could have become world champions. And then you see what happens.
And the debate goes to Opposition Denmark.
You see how happy they are? They're happy because they know they fucking lost, bro. They know they got their asses handed to them. That is not happiness because they won. That is happiness out of disbelief that they won, bro. Like, the only people cheering were the people from Denmark. I'm telling you, that whole audience was like, what? What? How did this happen, bro? Like, they are only happy because they didn't think they were going to win, and they ended up winning. And then where's me? See, look. I have to walk up to them, give them a freaking handshake. See, my boy Nick right there. That's my boy Nick. Nick is one of the smartest mother effers on the planet. Even he was like, what the fuck, bro? Nick is like a Stanford PhD at the age of 24. Like, I'm dead ass. Like, he's one of the smartest guys ever. And he could not believe how we lost. Horrible decision, bro. Absolutely horrible. It is what it is. You move on. And, well, because of the butterfly effect, because of all of those things that happened, including that round, that's why I'm here today, right? That's why I'm here today. So there we go. All right, that's actually it. I got to get out of here. I'll be back at 9:30 for Hood Weekly. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Will be a fun show. Will be exciting. We'll try to make it fun. This will be one where we have some jokes on the show as well. Like, we'll talk about, all the stuff around Robinhood and all the good stuff, but we'll try to make it fun and exciting and hopefully entertaining enough. And you guys will enjoy it over the coming weeks, or hopefully you guys will enjoy it over the coming weeks as well. All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys at 9:30. If not, I'll see you on the Market Open tomorrow morning. Bye, everyone. Love you all. Thank you for joining every day. I'll see you guys on Hood Weekly in a couple hours. Bye, everyone.